Welcome to Infinite Novel Audio. Like, subscribe, and enjoy this video. Chapter 76, Little Mouse, I've Found You. I went to the Douluo residence first thing this morning, but the doorman said she wasn't home. Yu Tianheng shook his head. Uncle Liang nodded and said, "It's fine, we'll just wait until she returns to ask. There's no need to rush for a day or two. Besides, she isn't home, so it's useless to be impatient." Yu Tianheng turned his head to look at Uncle Liang. "Once I bring this up, regardless of whether I succeed or not, I'm afraid I'll have no hope of winning her over. Shouldn't the family provide me with some compensation?" Upon hearing this, Uncle Liang frowned slightly. He only knew how to blindly demand, yet he didn't know how to repay the family. How is he the same sort of person as that Xiaogang? The family raised you all these years. You want compensation for doing something for the family. Yes, you have been away from home for many years, but the resources the family should have provided you have never ceased, right? And you haven't been short of a single cent in terms of money, have you? Uncle Liang stared at Yu Tianheng, his tone revealing an indescribable disappointment. Yu Tianheng lowered his head in shame. But the moment he lowered his head, a trace of resentment flashed in his eyes. Resources, money. Can those compare to marrying Douluo Yan and inheriting the position of clan chief? As long as he could become the clan chief, then the entire Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect would be his. Resources and money, what are those worth? HMPH, since you are heartless, don't blame me for being unrighteous. When Yi Lingling and Lin Chen came out of the restaurant, Lin Chen scanned the area unobtrusively, but he didn't find the guy who had been tailing them. "Let's go, I'll walk you home so I know where you live, in case I really need to find you for something." Who knows if the other party is professional? What if that guy didn't recognize Yi Lingling and grabbed her by mistake? Just in case, it was better to see her home. "There's nothing to do back home, let me take you to buy some daily necessities." Lin Chen. Oh well, it was just buying some daily necessities, it wouldn't take much time. It's just, they had agreed to buy daily necessities, so why did they end up wandering into the clothing street? Lin Chen didn't understand, but he was helpless. Sure enough, no matter which world it is, women's hobbies are more or less the same. The clothing street was like a barrier. Ever since they entered the clothing street, it felt as if they were trapped inside. No matter how they walked, they couldn't get out. Yi Lingling was either trying on clothes, or on her way to try on clothes. She didn't skip a single shop. However, she tried on a lot but bought very little. He didn't know what she was aiming for. See it, pay for it and leave, isn't that enough? Perhaps to reward Lin Chen for accompanying her shopping, Yi Lingling even bought him a few outfits. Half a day passed in a flash. It wasn't until close to dinner time that the two of them successfully broke through the clothing street barrier. They walked out of it. After having dinner together, Lin Chen finally saw her home. "Bye, I'll come find you to hang out another day." "All right, I'm off." Lin Chen waved his hand, then turned and left straight away. Yi Lingling watched him go. "Hey!" A sudden loud voice startled Yi Lingling, making her shiver. She turned her head to look, and it was Douluo Yan. "Seriously, are you sick? Don't you know that scaring people can scare them to death?" Yi Lingling gritted her teeth. "Can you blame me? Your eyes were practically glued to him." Douluo Yan curled her lips. "Yi Lingling." Douluo Yan grabbed her arm, a mischievous smile appearing on her face. "How was it? You still have the nerve to ask. You were the one who invited him, but where did you run off to?" Yi Lingling slanted her eyes at her. I just ran into something unexpected, and besides, didn't you two have a good time?" Douluo Yan looked slightly embarrassed. "No, which I saw us having a good time." Yi Lingling looked completely puzzled. Douluo Yan smirked. "If you weren't having a good time, would you have returned only now?" Yi Lingling. Douluo Yan continued, "If you weren't having a good time, would your eyes have been glued to him?" "I can't be bothered to talk to you." Yi Lingling left that sentence behind and walked toward the Yi residence. Hey, don't go. Don't you want to know what I did today? Du Guyan caught up and asked, tilting her head. Upon hearing this, Yi Lingling paused. She turned to look at Du Guyan. She didn't say anything, but her meaning was very clear. HMPH, I won't tell you. Du Guyan suddenly turned her head away, leaving Yi Lingling speechless. Fine, don't tell me then. Du Guyan immediately conceded and hurriedly grabbed Yi Lingling, who was about to leave again. Okay, I'll tell you, is that all right? As she spoke, she looked left and right, looking mysterious. My spirit mutated, a positive mutation. Some things couldn't be hidden, and besides, Yi Lingling wasn't an outsider. Furthermore, if she didn't share this kind of thing with someone, she wouldn't feel right. What? While Yi Lingling was stunned, she also felt incomparably shocked inside. Is this kind of thing something that can just change whenever it wants? Du Guyan continued, and I'm already a spirit elder. Yi Lingling's eyes widened abruptly. If she remembered correctly, Du Guyan was only rank 28 at the last test, right? She increased by 2 ranks just like that. Spirit mutation, breakthrough in rank, how did she encounter all the good things? And all at the same time. Yi Lingling's shocked expression was very satisfying to Du Guyan. She really wanted to say that she was already rank 35. However, increasing her spirit power by 7 ranks all at once was truly too inconceivable. So it was better to hide her talent a little. Although Yi Lingling was very curious about how she managed to do it, she also knew that some things couldn't be asked, so she could only suppress the curiosity in her heart. After Lin Chen parted ways with Yi Lingling, he turned into a deserted alley. But even after he walked all the way through, no one jumped out. It seems that guy has already retreated. I just don't know if he gave up or is crouching somewhere waiting for me. If it's the latter, Lin Chen thought it over and felt that the possibility of him being at his new home was the greatest. After all, since he had rented the house, he would definitely have to go back at night. Laying in wait was much easier than constantly looking for opportunities in the dark. Lin Chen quickened his pace and headed toward his home. The Yi residence was located in the north of the city, where some high-ranking officials and nobles lived. It was the rich area of Heaven Du City, relatively close to the Heaven Du Imperial Palace. The house Lin Chen rented was located in the west of the city, which was the commoner area of Heaven Du City. By the time Lin Chen returned to the west of the city, the sky had gradually darkened. Let me see if you really are there. Lin Chen stood at the entrance of an alley. His house was right in the middle of the alley. He closed his eyes slightly, and his hands continuously formed seals. When he opened his eyes again, his pupils had turned grey. Threads of karma emerged before his eyes. Lin Chen locked onto the thread of karma, connecting to the stalker. He changed his hand seal. The other threads of karma suddenly dissipated, leaving only the one he had locked onto. Lin Chen looked up. He saw that thread of karma extending all the way to his house. Little mouse, I've found you. Lin Chen smiled slightly, his pupils gradually returning to their black and white colors. Chapter 77, The Pain of Heart Eating. Why haven't they returned yet? Don't tell me they went to get a room. The middle-aged man squatted on the roof, bored out of his mind. He had been waiting for an entire afternoon, moving from inside the house to the roof. Yet he still hadn't seen that kid return. He seriously suspected that the kid had taken the Yi family girl and gone off to have some fun. The middle-aged man's pupils suddenly constricted. A strong sense of crisis struck from behind. There was no time to think. His body leaned forward instinctively, attempting to roll forward and dodge. Unfortunately, he was still a half-beat too slow. A sharp blade pierced in from his lower back and thrust out from his abdomen. The person who arrived was none other than Lin Chen. To avoid being sensed by the opponent in advance, he didn't even activate his spirit, but instead directly used breathless instant shadow kill to reach behind him. The weapon piercing the middle-aged man's abdomen was just an ordinary longsword. That seemingly ordinary sword strike had, in reality, pierced through the middle-aged man's dantian, making it impossible for him to mobilize his spirit power. Bang! Lin Chen kicked the middle-aged man in the head, instantly sending him flying. Afterward, his figure sped out, chasing the middle-aged man flying in the air, and with a fierce kick, he sent him crashing into the courtyard below. Bang! The middle-aged man slammed heavily into the stone slabs in the courtyard, kicking up a cloud of dust. Cough, cough. Blood spilled from the middle-aged man's mouth, accompanied by violent coughing. Lin Chen descended from the sky, striking 4 times in succession to sever the tendons in his hands and feet. NG. The middle-aged man wanted to cry out in pain, but was frightened back by the blade pressed against his throat. It's you. Seeing Lin Chen's face clearly, the middle-aged man's pupils constricted violently. He never would have dreamed in his wildest nightmares. The one who had crippled him in an instant was actually Lin Chen, the very person he had been monitoring for most of the day. How could this be? The other party was at most 10 years old, yet he was a genuine spirit king. Lin Chen looked down at him with a smile. Did you Tianheng not tell you that I'm a bit abnormal? The middle-aged man's pupils contracted slightly. Seeing this, Lin Chen knew he hadn't guessed wrong. He was indeed sent by Yu Tianheng. Do you need me to help you speak? Lin Chen raised his wrist, the sword's edge resting against the middle-aged man's chin. Yes. Upon hearing this, the middle-aged man gave a disdainful smile and then closed his eyes. Whatever tricks you have, just use them. You better think carefully. I don't have any honey traps waiting for you here. Lin Chen grinned. The middle-aged man. What the hell is a honey trap? I'm not even afraid of torture. Why would I be afraid of a honey trap? The brat's train of thought is really different. Seeing him unmoved, Lin Chen couldn't be bothered to waste any more breath on him. He flipped his left hand, and a red flower appeared in his palm. Flower name, Heartita. According to the prompt given by the system backpack, whether it be human or beast, as long as they inhale its pollen, they will suffer the pain of heart-eating. As for what exactly the pain of heart-eating is, Lin Chen wasn't entirely sure. It sounded quite terrifying. It just so happened that he could use the middle-aged man to test it today, and see what the pain of heart-eating was all about. Whoosh! Lin Chen aimed the flower at the middle-aged man's nose, and blew a breath of air sharply. Hearing the movement, the middle-aged man curiously opened his eyes. What came into view was a faint scarlet, which in the blink of an eye invaded his lungs with his breath. The middle-aged man's expression changed, and he hurriedly exhaled, wanting to expel them. Unfortunately, it was already too late. Lin Chen took a few steps back, retreating to the side to watch quietly. NG. The middle-aged man suddenly let out a low moan, his pupils looking as if they were about to pop out. NG tilde. He clutched his chest tightly, his face becoming extremely ferocious. Arg tilde. The middle-aged man's body gradually curled up, the veins on his arms and neck bulging, and his face was distorted from the extreme agony. True pain is never about screaming and shouting, it's about not even having the strength left to scream. The middle-aged man was exactly like that at this moment. Speak, I'll speak. In no time at all, he couldn't bear it anymore and squeezed out a few words with difficulty through his clenched teeth. Don't be in such a rush, let me observe a bit more. Lin Chen crossed his arms, unmoved. He hadn't even figured out the reason for it yet. Why was he already about to confess? The middle-aged man seemed to have broken down. He started spouting censored gibberish, but in an instant, he was interrupted by the pain of heart-eating. Lin Chen said nothing, watching quietly. There is a kind of pain that hurts just to watch. Although he hadn't experienced it himself, he could tell a thing or two from the other party's reaction. After a while, he finally spoke. Say whatever you want to say. When I think it's enough, I'll help you find release. The middle-aged man immediately sold out Uncle Liang. He intermittently blurted out the address of the intelligence relay station, Uncle Liang's strength rank, and all the personnel information for that intelligence relay station. There weren't many people at the intelligence relay station, with the rank 72 Uncle Liang coordinating the entire situation. In addition, there were some field operatives, as well as intelligence agents lurking in various factions, families, and even the royal family. However, the information for both the field operatives and the intelligence agents was known only to Uncle Liang. The Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect should have a backup. There was also some information that Lin Chen considered unimportant. As for how much was true and how much was false, it was hard to say. However, Lin Chen wouldn't be naive enough to believe it all. He would have to go and see for himself to know. But Lin Chen didn't continue to torture him. He directly slit his throat with one sword strike. Such a small fry wasn't worth wasting too much mental energy on. Those who kill often know that killing is easy, but disposing of a body is very difficult, and disposing of a body without it being traced back to oneself is even harder. However, Lin Chen didn't have any worries in this regard. The system backpack was one of the best ways to dispose of a body. He could just find some random place to dump it later. With a thought from Lin Chen, the man's corpse disappeared, and even the bloodstains on the ground were cleaned up completely. This was something a storage spirit tool couldn't do. Lin Chen then carefully inspected the courtyard and the roof, collecting all the bloodstains he could find into the system backpack. There would definitely be missed spots at night. He could just check again tomorrow. After settling everything, Lin Chen walked out of the house. He sped along the way, easily dodging all the fallen guards. 326 Kaiyuan Street, Old Wang's Grocery. Lin Chen glanced at the shop's house number and the shop's plaque. It matched up. Lin Chen didn't rashly break in, but instead activated his Eye of Karma once again. Yu Tianheng's thread of karma was right inside the shop. I didn't expect that guy to be so honest. It seems the effect of the heart-eating flower is quite good. Lin Chen's pupils turned back to black, and he looked at Old Wang's Grocery thoughtfully. According to what the middle-aged man said, only Uncle Liang and Yu Tianheng should be there at this time. The members of the action team would only arrive after receiving instructions. Those people weren't important. In the eyes of Uncle Liang and the others, dealing with Lin Chen was just a trivial matter. The middle-aged man responsible for tailing and capturing him was enough. Of course, this was only the middle-aged man's one-sided story. Chapter 78, Proceed with caution, it stinks. Why hasn't he returned yet? Could something have happened? Yu Tianheng glanced at Uncle Liang. He needed to return to the family as soon as possible, and didn't have the energy to play games with Lin Chen. Uncle Liang shook his head. Catching a brat, what could possibly happen? He probably just hasn't found an opportunity to strike yet. Just as he finished speaking, a knock sounded on the door. Dong tilde dong 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 tilde dong. One long, three short, one long, it was their secret code. See, he's back. Uncle Liang smiled, stood up, walked to the shop door and pulled the bolt. Yu Tianheng also looked towards the door with anticipation. You brat fighting with me, I'll make you see the price of that slap. His smile suddenly froze on his face. Just as Uncle Liang pulled the bolt, a figure suddenly appeared out of thin air behind him. Liang. Before Yu Tianheng's warning could fall, a cold sword blade had already pierced through Uncle Liang's heart. Uncle Liang lowered his head stiffly, looking in disbelief at the blade protruding from his chest. The scarlet color on it was blindingly bright. Lin Chen withdrew his long sword, and all of Uncle Liang's strength drained away with it. His body suddenly slumped to the ground. Although he wasn't completely dead yet, he had lost all power to resist. Lin Chen struck again, the blade entering through the center of his brow. He didn't know where the people in the room were, and knocking was just to lure them to the door. Uncle Liang opening the door was just perfect. As for keeping a live captive to ask about the others, forget it. Uncle Liang was a spirit saint. Even if Lin Chen had crippled his Danshan, he still had the strength to fight. Making a scene would only lead to more trouble. It's you. Seeing Lin Chen turn around, Yu Tianheng's pupils contracted violently. He stared at the other in shock. The other hadn't even released his spirit, so how did he appear out of thin air? Lin Chen smiled. Look at you, you're the one who started it, and you're the one who can't beat me and gets beaten up. Where do you get the nerve to call people? Now that you've dragged so many innocent people into this, are you satisfied? Lin Chen stepped forward with his sword. Yu Tianheng stood up from his seat abruptly and turned to run into the inner room, but he stumbled and fell flat on his face. Just as he tried to get up, an immense force landed on his back. Bang! Yu Tianheng was slammed onto the ground, unable to shake it off no matter how he struggled. Bastard, do you know who I am? My grandfather is Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen, the Sect Master of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Sect. If you dare touch me, my grandfather won't let you off. As Yu Tianheng roared, he mobilized his spirit power, trying to release his spirit to resist. But Lin Chen didn't waste words, and directly pierced his heart with his sword. Yu Tianheng's body stiffened abruptly. While I'm quite happy to see you begging pitifully, your voice is too loud. But Lin Chen pulled out the blade, and Yu Tianheng's vitality dissipated rapidly. He lay there quietly. Until the moment of his death, his eyes never closed, just like Uncle Liang lying at the door. Lin Chen searched the two of them, found 2 storage spirit tools, and then, just like he had dealt with the stalker, he put both of them into his system inventory. Afterward, he searched the shop. As an intelligence hub, this place should have had something interesting. Unfortunately, the result was disappointing. It seemed to be a normal grocery store. He didn't find anything. Forget it, that's that. Lin Chen shook his head and quickly left the old Wang grocery store. He snuck all the way home. Yu Tianheng's business is settled. Time to renew the subscription for Little San. What a pity. I consumed quite a bit of spirit power tonight. At most, I can only cause him some small misfortune. That'll do better than nothing, right? Lin Chen immediately mobilized the authority of calamity and poured all his spirit power into it. Shrek Academy. Tang San was woken up by the urge to urinate and walked out of the dormitory in a daze. He arrived at the latrine. Shrek Academy, while called a Spirit Master Academy, was actually just a few farmhouse buildings in a village, and the latrines were all pit toilets. It was just a wooden shed built over a large cesspit. Tang San walked into the wooden shed and let it all out. He didn't know that the black energy that had just arrived at his glabella had suddenly erupted. Crack! The crisp sound of breaking wood gave Tang San a jolt, but before he could react, the entire wooden shed suddenly collapsed. Even the stone slab he was standing on collapsed downwards with it. He instantly lost his balance. Tang San was shocked and grabbed the edge of the pit. Unexpectedly, the wooden plank with iron nails fell down and nailed right into his hand. Tang San let go in pain and fell straight into the cesspit. The pit wasn't actually deep, only a little over a meter. But Tang San had fallen in weightlessly and landed flat on his back into the filth. He was instantly submerged in sewage. It wasn't uncommon for people to drown in shallow water because those who couldn't swim would panic after falling in. Even if the water level was lower than their height, they often couldn't stand up. Tang San couldn't swim. Gurgle, gurgle. Tang San struggled in the pit, the sewage invading his throat through his breathing. Help, gurgle, gurgle. Tang San didn't care about the disgust and struggled desperately, calling for help. Gurgle, gurgle, Dad. Tang San's cries for help immediately alarmed the entire Shrek Academy. Oil lamps lit up one by one. Tang Hao, Flender, and the others rushed out of their rooms at the first opportunity. Little San. Tang Hao's mental force expanded, and he quickly found Tang San. He rushed to the latrine. Looking at the collapsed latrine, and Tang San struggling in the pit, Tang Hao's expression changed drastically. He didn't care about the disgust and jumped straight into the pit. He scooped Tang San up. With support, Tang San was finally able to stand straight with his help. Tang San took deep breaths of air. Although the air in the pit wasn't fresh, it was better than drowning and being unable to breathe. At this moment, his stomach was bulging. In just this short while, who knew how much he had swallowed? Tang Hao felt his stomach churn, and he bent over and retched. Tang San's senses gradually returned. Realizing what had happened, he couldn't help but bend over and vomit violently. The scene was simply too beautiful. Flender and the others also arrived one after another. Seeing the two in the pit, their expressions changed drastically. Whether it was Flender, Xiaogang, or Daimubai and Zyro Wu, they all couldn't help but vomit violently. This scene tonight was one they were destined to never forget. It was just too damn disgusting. Tang Hao grabbed Tang San and jumped out of the pit, then dropped Tang San and ran. Tang San knelt on the ground, vomiting violently. What he was vomiting wasn't digested food, but some indescribable things. Seeing this, Flender and the others felt their stomachs churn even more violently. No one went to care about Tang San. They didn't dare stay there any longer and turned to flee the scene, leaving Tang San alone to purge his stomach contents. Chapter 79, Yu Xiaogang begins to exert effort. Flender, what the hell are you doing? Take a look at that latrine of yours. Tang Hao's face was full of anger, and as he spoke, he couldn't help but retch again. Although he had already taken a bath, the filth in his soul could not be washed away. Even just mentioning it made him feel nauseous. Flender also felt a wave of nausea when he heard him bring it up again. However, he forcibly held it back. We are all fine, who knew he would be so unlucky? This F***C king is. Tang Hao was furious and was just about to say, can this even be considered just bad luck? But he stopped mid-sentence. After half a month of peaceful days, he had truly forgotten about this for a moment. Only now did he remember that he seemed to be a jinx. So it wasn't that the bad luck had dissipated, but that it was brewing something big. This can't go on. If I continue to stay by Little San's side, sooner or later I will curse him to death. It's just that. Before he could stay away from Tang San, but now that wouldn't work. Zyro Wu seemed obedient, but that was only because he was there. Once he left, Zyro Wu might just run away the next moment. That was a 100,000-year spirit ring and spirit bone. Instead of getting to the bottom of this here, we might as well think about how to comfort Little San. Flender seized the opportunity to change the subject. Falling into a cesspit and drinking his fill, how great must that psychological trauma be? Tang San probably wouldn't be able to forget it until the day he died, right? Tang Hao fell silent upon hearing this. How could he comfort him? This kind of thing couldn't be forgotten just by offering some comfort, right? What kind of days are these, honestly? I need to leave for a while, and I'm entrusting you with a task. Tang Hao looked at Flender. Compared to his son's life, the 100,000-year spirit ring and spirit bone were no longer that important. Besides, wasn't Flender still here? He was a dignified spirit saint, and an agility attack system spirit saint with flight capabilities at that. Could he not even keep an eye on one Zyro Wu? Please go ahead. Although he didn't know why Tang Hao wanted to leave, Flender didn't dare to ask too much. Tang Hao's expression gradually became serious. After I leave, you must ensure that Zyro Wu is under your constant supervision. You must absolutely not let her leave Shrek. Flender was stunned, a bit confused as to what the other party meant. Tang Hao said, just do as I say. They hadn't told the rest of Shrek about Zyro Wu's true identity. All right. Although he didn't understand why, Flender honestly agreed. Tang Hao warned him once more, still feeling uneasy. Remember, if you let her run away, then you don't need to keep living either. Flender. Seriously, man, is this the attitude you have when asking for favors? Can you F***C king act like a human being? Understood. Although he was 10,000 times displeased in his heart, how could Flender dare to say no? His strength was inferior to others, what could he do? However, Tang Hao's warning felt like a thorn. It was deeply embedded in his heart. Your Excellency Haoshan, it's bad. Little San jumped into the well to commit suicide. What? Tang Hao and the others' expressions changed drastically, and they hurriedly rushed out of the room. By the well, Tang San had already been rescued by Li Yusong and was lying there coughing up water. Li Yusong and the others stood to the side with gloomy expressions. Shrek Academy only had this one water well, and now that he had messed it up like this, who would dare to use it? Although Tang San had jumped into the well after taking a bath, who the hell knew if he had finished vomiting, or if he had vomited into the well? Even if he really had finished vomiting, just thinking about it was still disgusting. Tang Hao and Flender arrived one after another. Looking at his son, who was soaking wet and lying on the ground coughing, Tang Hao was instantly overcome with rage. He strode forward, bent down, and grabbed Tang San by the collar. Slap, slap. Tang Hao pulled him up and delivered 2 hard slaps across the face. Trash. I, Tang Hao, have been wise all my life. How did I give birth to such a piece of trash like you? You can't even handle this little setback, you. Tang Hao was so angry he was speechless, and suddenly pushed him to the ground. He was a spirit master after all, yet he managed to fall into a cesspit while using the toilet, and he almost drowned in such shallow water. It was simply embarrassing to the extreme. Tang San didn't say a word, lying on the ground like a puddle of mud. His eyes were hollow, as if his soul had been sucked away. Sigh. Watching Tang San, who looked like he had lost his soul, Flender couldn't help but sigh. This child was most likely ruined. Zyro Wu was also watching from the side, and she secretly swore in her heart that she would never allow Tang San to touch her in the future, not even for a second. And Dai Mubai, who lived in the same room as Tang San, also planned to change rooms. If Flender didn't agree, he would drop out. This godforsaken academy wasn't worth staying in anyway. Seeing this, a glimmer of light flashed in Yu Xiaogang's eyes. At this moment, Tang San was in need of care. He might be able to take this opportunity to kick Tang Hao out of Tang San's family tree and replace him to become Tang San's real father. Thinking of this, Yu Xiaogang instantly revealed a face full of anger. Tang Hao, what are you doing? He rushed over and shoved Tang Hao aside. Is this how you act as a father? He rebuked Tang Hao, then squatted down to help Tang San up. Little San, are you okay? He gently stroked Tang San's cheek, as if he were stroking his own lover. Little San, does it hurt? Tang Hao. Zyro Wu. Everyone was dumbfounded, staring at Yu Xiaogang in stunned silence. Good grief, he really didn't mind the filths. However, truth be told, by comparison, he seemed more like Tang San's real father than Tang Hao. Teacher. Tang San's eyes finally regained some luster. Looking at Yu Xiaogang's weathered face, he felt inexplicably moved. Since he came up from the cesspit, Teacher was the first person who didn't despise him. Woo-woo-woo. Tang San's emotions completely collapsed, and he sobbed in Yu Xiaogang's arms. Yu Xiaogang gently stroked his head. It's okay, Teacher is here. No matter what you become or what you have experienced, Teacher will always be your teacher and will never despise you. Woo-woo-woo. Hearing this, Tang San immediately cried even louder and more sorrowfully. Seeing this, everyone fell silent. Tang Hao also felt a trace of regret inexplicably, wondering if he had been a bit too harsh just now, and if he had failed to fulfill the responsibilities of a father. Forget it, why think so much? Me giving birth to him is the greatest fatherly love and gift. He won't be able to repay it even until he dies. It was good that Yu Xiaogang treated him sincerely, so he could leave with peace of mind. It's just, where should I go next? Tang Hao was already thinking about where to go next, not caring about Tang San's emotions at all. Forget it, I'll go keep Ah Yin company. In all these years, the number of times I've visited hasn't exceeded the count of my hands. It's time to properly keep her company. Chapter 80. Yin, my Yin. The next day, early morning, Lin Chen slowly opened his eyes and exhaled a breath of stale air. He had been cultivating all night. It was only because he had spent the whole day accompanying Yi Lingling yesterday that he hadn't had a chance to clean his house. Knock, knock, knock. Lin Chen suddenly looked toward the front door, his gaze seemingly piercing through the walls. Who could it be? He only had one friend in Heaven Du City, Yi Lingling, and they had only just met recently. Who would come looking for him so early in the morning? Filled with doubt, Lin Chen walked out of his room and came to the courtyard gate. Who is it? Greetings, young master. Our young miss sent us to help you clean up. Lin Chen opened the door with a guarded expression, only to see over a dozen people standing in the alley outside, looking at him with beaming smiles. They were all holding some tools, such as brooms, rags, buckets, and the like. The person leading them bowed slightly. The young miss asked me to pass a message to you. She apologizes for dragging you out for the whole afternoon yesterday, which left you with no time to clean. Lin Chen. Hearing this, he didn't even need to ask to know who their young miss was. Was Yi Lingling really this attentive and thoughtful? His house wasn't particularly big, but it wasn't small either. For one person to clean it from top to bottom, it would indeed require a lot of effort. Lin Chen naturally had no reason to refuse. Then I will trouble you all, please come in. Young master, you are too polite. The leader replied and immediately led the group inside in a single file. Without any unnecessary chatter, they got straight to work. Some were responsible for the courtyard, some for the interior of the house, and others for the walls. Sweeping and mopping, the division of labor was clear. Lin Chen didn't help. It wasn't because he was lazy, but because they wouldn't let him. With nothing to do, he brought out a stool and sat by the door, checking his spoils from last night. The first spirit tool was a black jade thumb ring with an internal space of 10 cubic meters, filled with various sundries. That was Yu Tianheng's spirit tool, apart from some gold coins. There was nothing else of note. Uncle Liang's spirit tool was a silver bracelet with an internal space much larger than the jade ring, totaling 30 cubic meters. There were quite a lot of things inside the bracelet. But after looking through it, he didn't find anything useful. He had hoped to find some intelligence or spy information. But that made sense. Unless it hadn't been sent out in time, who would keep such things on them? By nearly noon, the cleaning was finally finished. To show his gratitude, Lin Chen gave them some money before letting them leave. He couldn't let people think he was living off a woman, could he? In the following days, Lin Chen's cultivation returned to the right track. Every day, it was either cultivation or going out to farm rewards. However, in Heaven Du City, he didn't dare to be too reckless. Most of the time, he used questions to cast Calamity Strike. Asking about a restaurant here, a clothing store there. Yi Lingling would occasionally bring Du Guyan over to hang out with him. Days passed by like this. While Lin Chen was farming rewards like crazy, Tang Hao finally arrived at Yin's cave. Yin, I'm here. Before entering the stone chamber, Tang Hao spoke to the air, but the moment he stepped inside, he froze completely. He rubbed his eyes in disbelief, attempting to make Yin reappear. However, the facts could not be changed. Yin. Tang Hao let out a heart-wrenching scream and slid to his knees in front of where Yin had been. He stared at the hole in the ground, clearly left behind after Yin had been pulled out, his whole body trembling uncontrollably, even his teeth chattering. He reached out with a trembling right hand, wanting to caress the non-existent Yin, but could not bring himself to do so, his hand just shaking in midair. No! Tang Hao roared at the sky, his miserable cry carrying from the skylight to the outside of the cave. Yin's my Yin, where are you? Tang Hao's eyes were bloodshot, veins bulging, and he searched the stone chamber like a madman. The stone chamber was clearly only so big, and one could see everything at a glance, yet he insisted on kneeling on the ground, searching every single inch of soil. Anyone who didn't know better would think Yin was an ant. Bastard, who is it? Who the hell is it? Tang Hao sat slumped on the ground, his face dark and gloomy, his knuckles cracking as he clenched his fists. The temperature inside the stone chamber dropped with his fluctuating emotions, and his boiling killing intent condensed into substance, turning into wisps of blood-colored energy swirling around him. He suddenly looked up at a stone wall, then lunged toward it. Tang Hao pressed his hand against it, triggering the mechanism. Unfortunately, the secret compartment that opened was empty. Where was the spirit bone now? Damn it! Tang Hao was furious and smashed his fist into the stone wall. The wall cracked inch by inch, and his knuckles were scraped raw from the excessive force. Who is it? Who the hell is it? He gritted his teeth and squeezed out these cold words. He really couldn't figure it out. How could anyone possibly find such a hidden place? And even taking a step back, even if someone had stumbled in, why would they be interested in a seemingly ordinary blade of grass? That would be one thing. But the spirit bone he had hidden in the secret compartment had actually been stolen by them as well. Everything about this was strange. It was as if someone knew Yin's identity and knew he had hidden a spirit bone here. But was that possible? He had never told anyone about this place, and he had rarely even come here in all these years. No one should have known about it. Who in the world is it? Tang Hao was furious, yet filled with a deep sense of powerlessness. His wife had been taken, and the mementos she left behind had also been stolen. As her husband, he didn't even know who the thief was. He didn't even have a single clue. This made him feel an unprecedented sense of anger and helplessness. He wanted to vent and seek revenge, but he didn't know who to target. It would have been better not to think about it, but the more he thought, the angrier he became. He grabbed his head and roared. Anger and helplessness caused his last shred of reason to collapse in an instant. He flipped his right hand, and the clear sky hammer appeared in his grip. Bang, bangs, bang. Tang Hao frantically smashed the stone walls, venting the anger in his heart. Rumble. As Tang Hao continued to smash, the stone chamber finally collapsed. Countless stones fell, only to be smashed into powder by hammer blow after hammer blow. Tang Hao shot into the sky, jumped into the nearby river, and began smashing everything indiscriminately. There was no method to it, it was purely for venting. He was like a programmed robot, indiscriminately destroying everything he could see, indulging in releasing the anger in his heart. He didn't know how much time had passed. Perhaps he had run out of strength, or perhaps he had vented enough. He collapsed straight onto the ground. He looked up at the sky, tears streaming from the corners of his eyes. Wuo, Yin, my Yin. Tang Hao couldn't help but burst into tears, snot and tears mixing together, making him look just like a little brat whose toy had been snatched away. Chapter 81, Preparing to Grind a Dungeon. Lin Chen, don't you feel bored just cooping yourself up at home every day? Douluo put down her teacup and asked. Hearing this, Yi Lingling couldn't help but look at Lin Chen opposite her. Every time they came to find him, he was at home. It was clear that he spent the vast majority of his time cooped up at home. Just thinking about it felt boring. Lin Chen shook his head. I'm used to it, and there's nothing fun to do outside anyway. Over the past few days, he had wandered all over Heaven-Do City, but apart from the Great Spirit Arena, which was somewhat interesting, there was nothing left but various clubs. The entertainment industry was ridiculously barren. Douluo suddenly leaned on the edge of the table, looking at Lin Chen with a mischievous grin. Why don't you come to our academy? That way you can be with Yi Lingling every day. As she said this, she also raised an eyebrow at Yi Lingling. Lin Chen remained expressionless. Over these past few days, he had gotten used to Douluo's shipper tendencies. The kind that forces ships. Yi Lingling just rolled her eyes at Douluo, then said to Lin Chen. Although Douluo is unreliable, I think her suggestion is actually quite good. It just so happens that our captain has gone missing for no reason. With your strength, if you were to become our captain, the others would definitely have nothing to say. Although they weren't clear on Lin Chen's specific rank or spirit, Douluo Yan had sparred with Lin Chen quite a few times over the past few days. The result was a crushing defeat every single time. You have to know that the current Douluo Yan was no longer just some control system spirit master. Her spirit had mutated into a flood dragon, gaining enhancements in strength and fire attributes, and she was already a spirit elder. Even without activating her spirit, she wasn't someone an ordinary spirit master of the same rank could contend with. Yet Lin Chen could steadily suppress her. It was evident that Lin Chen's spirit and rank were not below hers. "Oh, I remember you saying that Yu Tianheng is your captain, right? He went missing." Lin Chen looked at Yi Lingling, his expression appropriately showing a hint of surprise. Yi Lingling nodded. "He's been missing for several days. His grandfather, the sect master of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect, even rushed over personally, but so far no clues have been found." Lin Chen thought to himself. It seems that guy wasn't lying. Only Uncle Liang and Yu Tianheng knew about him coming to tail and capture me. Douluo Yan added, "I heard from my grandfather that a spirit saint and a spirit king also went missing with him. Whoever made a move must be at least a spirit Douluo." "There's such a thing." Yi Lingling glanced at her close friend, clearly unaware of this intelligence. Douluo Yan nodded. "There aren't many people in the entire Spirit Master's world who can send out a spirit Douluo and have the guts to lay a hand on a direct descendant of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect. Grandfather said there is a high probability that it was done by Salaz, the Platinum Bishop of the Heaven Dew Spirit Temple. Because the Spirit Saint who disappeared was the person in charge of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect's intelligence office in Heaven Dew City, he probably uncovered some important intelligence regarding Spirit Hall." Lin Chen exclaimed good grief in his heart. As an intelligence operative, to have one's identity fully exposed by the other party left Lin Chen at a loss for words for a moment. Yi Lingling asked, "Then didn't Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen go looking for Salaz?" Douluo Yan smiled scornfully upon hearing this. "Even if you gave him 10 times the courage, would he dare? Behind Salaz is Spirit Hall, to go confront him without evidence. Isn't that just pure suicide? Never mind not having evidence, even if they really had it, they probably wouldn't have the guts." Lin Chen nodded inwardly. The strength of Spirit Hall was beyond doubt. The Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect was far from being a match. By the way, there is another piece of gossip. Douluo Yan suddenly remembered something, and her expression became strange. Lin Chen asked, "What gossip?" Douluo Yan looked left and right, appearing very mysterious. She lowered her voice. "I heard from grandfather that Sword Douluo of the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School seems to have been crippled." "What?" Yi Lingling's volume was slightly high, her face full of disbelief. Lin Chen was also full of shock. Chen Xin was crippled. Was the crippled, she spoke of the same crippled, he understood. That shouldn't be possible, right? Chen Xin was a peak Douluo after all. How could he be so easily crippled? Looking across the entire Spirit Master's world, how many people could manage to leave Chen Xin with no room to even escape? And if they could cripple him, they could kill him. If the person was already crippled, why let him go back? Were they not afraid of retaliation from the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School? Douluo Yan continued, "The news was told to my grandfather by Prince Yu Exing, saying that the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School wants to invite my grandfather to gather at the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School." Hearing her say this, Lin Chen and the other girl immediately felt that it must be true. Chen Xin was actually crippled. Lin Chen's expression was a bit strange, thinking to himself, could this matter have something to do with him? That shouldn't be right. He only brought a disaster down on Chen Xin once. Was Chen Xin really that fragile? Sword Douluo is crippled, so why would the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School invite your grandfather to visit? Could it be they want to invite your grandfather to join the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School? Yi Lingling asked. It's hard to say for sure, but that possibility isn't non-existent. However, even if that were truly the case, my grandfather wouldn't agree anyway. Also, Douluo Yan suddenly paused, a trace of pride gradually appearing on her face. Chrysanthemum Douluo and Ghost Douluo from Spirit Hall also came. It should be to confirm Sword Douluo's situation. My grandfather had a fight with Chrysanthemum Douluo last night. Lin Chen asked, did he win? Looking at her face full of pride, there was no need to ask. He must have won, but he still had to provide the necessary emotional support. Moreover, Lin Chen was also quite curious about Douluo Bo's current rank. It would be easier to ask by following the conversation. Douluo Yan couldn't help but roll her eyes at him upon hearing this. That's Chrysanthemum Douluo. He's been rank 95 for a long time, while my grandfather is only rank 93. How could he win? However, although he didn't win, he didn't lose either. It was a draw. My grandfather is no longer the weakest, titled Douluo. Lin Chen was instantly speechless. What the hell are you proud of if he didn't win? But thinking about it carefully, it made sense. Fighting at rank 93 against rank 95 and managing a draw was indeed quite good. Do you want to go to the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School to play? If you do, we can go with my grandfather when the time comes. Lin Chen's eyes suddenly lit up upon hearing this. Chrysanthemum, Ghost, and Bone Douluo, 3 titled Douluo in total. Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen was also in Heaven Du City, so he might also appear at the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School when the time came. For titled Douluo, wouldn't the rewards be explosive? Ultimate skills, spirit rings, spirit power. A sense of anticipation about going into a dungeon suddenly arose in Lin Chen's heart. With this wave, he might even be able to reach a breakthrough to rank 40. A spirit ancestor over 8 years old. If word of this got out, wouldn't it scare people to death? I'm going. Lin Chen didn't hesitate much. He was definitely going to grind this dungeon. Yi Lingling nodded, then I'll go too. All right, then I'll go back and tell grandfather, and I'll take you both with me when the time comes. Douluo Yan nodded. Chapter 82, Calamity Strike Xiaogang. We've been talking for so long, and you still haven't answered my previous question. Douluo Yan stared at Lin Chen, pouting. What question? Lin Chen looked confused. He genuinely didn't remember what she had asked. Yi Lingling spoke up to remind him. Going to our academy. Oh, that. Lin Chen shook his head. Let's just forget about it. Academies and such don't really have much meaning. Douluo Yan's eyes widened. How is it meaningless? Don't you want to participate in the All-Continent Spirit Master Academy Elite Tournament? That is the greatest honor in the Spirit Master's world. Upon hearing this, Lin Chen smiled disdainfully. It's just an empty name. If you can cultivate to become a titled Douluo, glory will naturally follow you, and it will be far more effective than winning a few Spirit Master Tournament championships. Douluo Yan. She really couldn't refute this, because a titled Douluo was the lifelong pursuit of all Spirit Masters, their true highest honor. But there's no conflict between the two, right? Lin Chen picked up the teapot and refilled their empty teacups. He set down the teapot before speaking. There's only so much Spirit Master knowledge. You've already finished learning everything you're supposed to, right? The 2 women nodded. You aren't commoners, so you don't need to worry about no one helping you hunt for spirit rings, and you've learned all the necessary knowledge. So, what help can the academy possibly provide you? The 2 women thought about it carefully and were at a loss for words. It seemed there really wasn't much help. All they did was cultivate or spirit fight all day. Lin Chen picked up his teacup and took a sip. If you're talking about actual combat experience, the effect of the Great Spirit Arena is definitely much better than the sparring-style spirit fights at your academy. Furthermore, even the spirit fights in the Great Spirit Arena are very different from real combat. Rule restrictions might protect you, but they will also cause you to form muscle memory of holding back, which will become a fatal flaw in real combat. True combat is about doing whatever it takes to kill the enemy. We are currently in our golden period of cultivation, and I personally don't think it's worth wasting so much time on such meaningless things. The 2 women couldn't help but open their mouths wide. They had to admit that Lin Chen's words made a lot of sense. Whether it was the Academy's spirit fight competitions, the spirit fights in the Great Spirit Arena, or the All-Continent Spirit Master Academy Elite Tournament, there were many restrictions. And such restrictions clearly could not exist during life and death struggles. They were used to sparring spirit fights, and if they really encountered a life and death struggle, they might subconsciously hold back, which would be fatal. Of course, sparring spirit fights are not entirely useless. At the very least, these spirit fights can desensitize you to combat, allow you to maintain absolute rationality during a fight, and help you understand more spirit characteristics. But in my opinion, the disadvantages outweigh the advantages, so let's forget about it. Lin Chen said all this to make his attitude toward the academy clear. He didn't want the two women to keep bringing it up in the future. Repeated refusals could hurt their relationship. All right, we won't mention it again. Du Guyan nodded, having roughly guessed Lin Chen's thoughts. Yi Lingling also nodded. Lin Chen looked up at the sun, which had risen to its zenith. It's about time for lunch, let's go. Memo. The two women stood up, and the three of them went into the city together. After eating, the three of them returned to their respective homes. I'm in a good mood today, so I'll bestow some favor upon Little San and the others. Lin Chen smiled slightly. The upcoming Seven Treasures dungeon made him feel very happy. Lin Chen formed a hand seal and activated his Karma Eye. Looking at the strands of karma, he debated whom he should bestow favor upon today. I can't let Little San monopolize my favor. While pondering, his gaze fixed on Xiaogang's karma line. All in. Lin Chen gave all of his spirit power to Xiaogang. Shrek Academy. Little San, why aren't you training? What are you messing around with here again? Xiaogang looked very displeased. When Tang Hao was around, he strictly controlled the training plan for Tang San and the others. He didn't give him any chance to coach. Now that Tang Hao had left, he had finally managed to snatch the coaching rights from Flender and had formulated a perfect running training plan. Yet Tang San was slacking off. He only knew how to hole up in his room all day, messing with things no one could understand. Teacher, you've come at the right time. I've prepared some sharp weapons for self-defense for you. Tang San stood up eagerly. Back at Notting Academy, he had neglected some things in order to pursue Zyro Wu. For example, hidden weapons and poisons. After experiencing the crisis with Sect Master Yu Yuanjin, he deeply realized his own shortcomings. After arriving at Shrek, he begged his father to help him find many hidden weapons and the materials needed to manufacture poisons. Today, the first batch of poisons was finally finished. Sharp weapons for self-defense. Xiaogang looked blank. As spirit masters, this kid was actually talking to him about sharp weapons for self-defense. Could those be stronger than a spirit and spirit ability? Tang San stood up and pulled Xiaogang to sit in front of the wooden table. He wiped his right hand across the table, and the ring on his index finger flashed with a faint light. Various bottles and jars suddenly appeared on the table. That ring was a gift from his father, containing a special space of 3 cubic meters. What is this stuff? Xiaogang picked up a porcelain bottle, his expression revealing a hint of disgust. Tang San smiled confidently. Teacher, don't underestimate this. What's inside is a terrifying poisonous gas that even a spirit king or even a spirit emperor cannot withstand. What? Xiaogang's expression changed drastically, and he subconsciously threw the porcelain bottle away. Fortunately, Tang San was quick-witted and caught it. Otherwise, the two of them, master and disciple, might have died here today. Teacher, take it easy, this can kill people. Tang San looked at the porcelain bottle in his hand, feeling a chill down his back. Wasn't his teacher being a bit too reckless? The explosion of this kind of volatile poison often happened in an instant. It might not even be possible to take the antidote in time. Xiaogang, however, seemed not to have heard him and looked at his disciple with skepticism. You say the poisonous gas inside is one that even a spirit king and spirit emperor cannot withstand. Tang San nodded. Although it hasn't been tested yet, there is a high probability that it can poison a spirit king and spirit emperor to death. As for higher-level spirit saints and such, I'm not sure. A gleam of light suddenly burst forth in Yu Xiaogang's eyes. Strength was his biggest weakness. If what Little San said was true, didn't that mean he, a mere spirit grandmaster, could possess the strength to fight against a spirit king and spirit emperor? However, spirit saints and spirit Douluo might not be as terrifying as you think, teacher. As he spoke, Tang San picked up a pink porcelain bottle from the table. Yu Xiaogang's spirit lifted, and even his breathing became rapid. He looked at Tang San and asked, "Could this perhaps poison a spirit saint, or even a spirit Douluo?" Chapter 83, The Bamboozled Yu Xiaogang. Looking at the teacher's expectant face, Tang San shook his head awkwardly. No. He had consulted his father about the differences between the various realm of spirit masters. Among the many Tang sect poisons, it wasn't that there were none capable of poisoning a spirit saint or spirit Douluo. It was just that he couldn't find the materials at all, and it wasn't even certain if they existed in this world. With that energy, it would be better to go craft hidden weapons. Among the Tang sect hidden weapons, there were quite a few capable of killing spirit saints and spirit Douluos, and even if caught off guard, it was not impossible to kill a titled Douluo. Because his father had said that a titled Douluo only had relatively strong mental force and spirit ability power. Their physical constitution was average. Without flashing, avoiding, or defending, even an ordinary bow and arrow could shoot and kill a titled Douluo. Hidden weapons would be even less of a problem. Yu Xiaogang's expression stiffened. If you can't, why the hell are you talking about it? However, a hint of a cheap, wicked smile suddenly appeared on Tang San's face. It can make spirit saints and spirit Douluos unable to stop themselves. Yu Xiaogang. What did it mean to make spirit saints and spirit Douluos unable to stop themselves? Yu Xiaogang suddenly thought of something, and a hint of fear appeared on his face. Little San. Could Little San have been led astray by that damned round-faced bearded man? This is an aphrodisiac. Hearing this, Yu Xiaogang jumped up, took several steps back to distance himself from Tang San, and looked at him with full vigilance. Tang San. Little San, first of all, let me declare, teacher is not discriminating against you, but teacher still wants to say one thing. This kind of thinking of yours is not right. No matter how comfortable that feeling is, you cannot sink into it. You must know you are an upright man. Yu Xiaogang took a deep breath and earnestly advised. Teacher, what comfortable or not comfortable? What upright man? What are you talking about? Why can I not understand a word of this? Tang San was full of confusion. He really didn't understand what his teacher was talking about. Yu Xiaogang frowned, thinking, could he have guessed wrong? He pointed to the pink porcelain bottle in Tang San's hand. Why are you making this thing? This. Tang San looked at the porcelain bottle in his hand, a perverted smile appearing on his face again. What else can an aphrodisiac be used for? Yu Xiaogang's expression changed, thinking, you just said you didn't understand. Tang San followed up with a supplement. But the aphrodisiac effect is not the point. The point is that it can disrupt Kai and spirit power, and even a spirit saint or spirit Douluo cannot resist it. Once an enemy is hit, it will be difficult for them to use spirit abilities in a short time. Coupled with the hidden weapons I will make later, it is not impossible to defeat spirit saints and spirit Douluos. Yu Xiaogang widened his eyes. Good heavens, can an aphrodisiac be used this way? What kind of genius is this? By the way, what is that hidden weapon you just mentioned? Tang San raised his right hand and aimed at a pillar. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Thud, thud, thud. 3 arrows shot through the air and nailed precisely into the pillar. Hiss. Seeing the arrows nailed to the pillar, Yu Xiaogang couldn't help but gasp. The power wasn't great, but it excelled in stealth. No need to draw a bow, just lift a hand and it's done. How is one supposed to defend against this? Tang San explained. Hidden weapons, as the name implies, are weapons used in the dark. The main point is a sneak attack, making it impossible to defend against. This silent sleeve dart is just the weakest type of hidden weapon. It's fine for dealing with small fries. It's useless against those with too high a rank, as it's easily dodged. However, I have more powerful hidden weapons. Xiaogang's sincerity had indeed earned a certain level of trust from Tang San. Otherwise, he wouldn't have told Xiaogang about the hidden weapons so early. Of course, there was another reason. Tang San heard from Tang Hao that his teacher not only came from the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect, but also had a not-so-shallow relationship with the current Supreme Pontiff of Spirit Hall. It could be said that he had both knowledge and connections. As long as teacher was willing to help him. Not to mention top-tier hidden weapons. After all, he didn't possess the skill to craft top-tier hidden weapons, but mid to high-tier ones shouldn't be a problem. At that time, his comprehensive strength would be greatly improved. Not to mention beating up titled Douluos. Dealing with some spirit saints and spirit Douluos shouldn't be a problem. More powerful ones. Hearing this, Xiaogang became excited. Quick, take them out and show me. Hearing this, Tang San feigned embarrassment, looking like he wanted to speak but stopped. Xiaogang frowned slightly. That, teacher, more powerful hidden weapons require more precious materials, and I have no money, nor do I have a channel to purchase them. Tang San said with a look of shame. Sai, I thought it was something serious. Xiaogang didn't care at all. As long as it can really give me the ability to kill spirit saints and spirit Douluos, even if you want the stars in the sky, teacher can help you get them. Really? Tang San was full of excitement, but he didn't mention a word about the hidden weapon techniques. He wasn't stupid. If he let teacher know that those hidden weapons couldn't be used by just anyone, teacher definitely wouldn't bother helping him collect the materials. Wait until the materials are in hand, then it won't be too late to make the hidden weapons. Xiaogang smiled. You must not underestimate your teacher's connections. As long as it exists in this world, your teacher can find it. How about this, you make a list for me, and I'll find someone to help you find them right now. Still the same point, his own strength was the fatal flaw. As long as he could possess powerful strength, it wouldn't be impossible to contact Bibaidong again. It just so happened that the solution for the conflict of twin spirits also required finding her. Establish contact little by little, and it would be much easier to speak later. Tang San flipped his right hand, and a piece of paper appeared in his hand. Teacher, the materials I need are written on this. Xiaogang was stunned. He had just opened his mouth, and Tang San handed over the list immediately. How come it felt like he had been prepared for a long time? Never mind, it's not important. Xiaogang took the list and glanced at it. The quantity seemed a bit large. But it wasn't a big problem. Money and such to Bibaidong was just a number. Okay, I'll go arrange it now. Teacher, wait. Tang San called out to the teacher who was about to turn and leave, and picked up a few porcelain bottles on the table. Teacher, carry these poisons with you. If you really encounter something, even if you can't kill the enemy, you can buy a chance to escape. This is. He patiently introduced the efficacy and usage of each poison to his teacher. Xiaogang listened very carefully. Poisons do not distinguish between friend and foe. If he didn't listen carefully, he might end up suffering himself, so he had to be cautious. After remembering everything, Xiaogang hid the various porcelain bottles all over his body. No way he didn't have a spirit tool for storage. Fortunately, the porcelain bottles were small, and there weren't many of them, so he could barely hide them. All right, I'm leaving. You continue researching slowly. Chapter 84. This was just an accident. After Xiaogang returned to his room, he immediately began writing a letter to Bibaidong. He started with pleasantries, expressing his longing. Only at the end did he get to the point, transcribing the materials that Tang San needed. After finishing, he carefully checked it over once more. Not bad, it seems my standard hasn't dropped. Xiaogang smiled with satisfaction. He put the letter into an envelope and then stood up. The moment he turned around, his whole body shuddered. He couldn't hold his bladder, and yellow liquid suddenly ran down his leg. The stench of urine immediately began to spread. It turned out that Flender had quietly walked up behind him at some point. He was looking at him with a face full of anger. Xiaogang looked down, feeling both ashamed and furious, and violently shoved Flender. "Are you out of your mind?" Flender also saw the urine flowing from his leg onto the floor. His expression was inevitably a bit awkward. How could he have imagined that Xiaogang would be scared into wetting himself? However, anger resurfaced on Flender's face, and he stared coldly at Xiaogang. "How can you face Erlong after doing this?" He clenched his fists, his gaze like a blade, as if he wanted to mince Xiaogang into 1,000 pieces. He had originally endured the pain of giving Erlong to him. And what was the result? This old bastard was now actually thinking of rekindling his old flame with Bibai Dong. This made Flender feel like a clown. Xiaogang was laughed out of anger. How could this person be so stupid? "I can't be bothered to talk to you." He knew the other party was in the heat of anger, and it was useless to say anything now. It was better to wait for him to calm down before explaining. Flender was furious and violently grabbed his arm. Then with a forceful pull and a swing, he threw him. Xiaogang was only rank 29. How could he withstand this sudden outburst? Stumble, stumble, stumble. Xiaogang stumbled back over a dozen steps and eventually landed on his butt. Due to the violent movement, a pink porcelain bottle fell out from his waist. Crack! The porcelain bottle was fragile and shattered upon hitting the ground, and a colorless, odorless gas began to spread. Xiaogang's expression changed drastically when he saw the shattered porcelain bottle. Damn it! He covered his mouth and nose, scrambled up and tried to run, but was grabbed by Flender again. "Don't you go anywhere, explain yourself clearly first. What the hell do you mean? Did you see that Bibai Dong has become the supreme pontiff of Spirit Hall and want to climb up the social ladder?" "I'll explain your *##." While Xiaogang was cursing, he raised his hand to slap him. Flender easily grabbed his wrist. Just as he was about to start cursing, he suddenly felt an inexplicable heat in his body. Xiaogang had a lower rank, so it took effect faster. In the blink of an eye, that inexplicable heat caused a blush to rise on his old face, and his eyes gradually became unfocused. "Xiaogang, what's wrong with you?" Flender was not stupid, and immediately sensed that something was wrong with him. "Fleas, Flender." Xiaogang's voice was very soft, so soft that it was clearly abnormal. His hands also became restless. "Xiaogang." Flender's expression changed drastically, and he hurriedly pinned down his hands. He wanted to check the other person's condition, but found that mobilizing his spirit power had become extremely difficult. He couldn't mobilize it at all. Xiaogang. Inexplicably, Flender actually felt that this old friend of his had a delicate and pretty appearance, to the point that his tone unconsciously softened. "Flender. Xiaogang. Flender. Xiaogang." The two called out to each other, looking at each other with affection. The atmosphere in the room gradually became ambiguous. When this ambiguous atmosphere reached a critical point, the two of them in the end could not hold back. Daimyo and Xiao, who had waited for a long time at the academy entrance without seeing Grandmaster bring Tang San out, so they angrily hurried over to look for them. However, when the two passed by Grandmaster's dormitory, their footsteps came to a simultaneous halt. They exchanged a glance. Then they tiptoed to the door and tilted their ears to listen. Hiss! Hearing the commotion inside the room, both of them couldn't help but gasp. Good heavens! If they hadn't misheard, the people inside were Grandmaster and Dean Flender, right? They were actually. The two looked at each other again, both seeing the shock in the other's eyes. They had never expected this in a million years. Dean Flender and Grandmaster were actually playing so wildly in private. If you're going to play, at least pick a time, right? They agreed on weight-bearing training, but the two of them were actually here. Simply, for a moment, the two didn't know how to describe them. After the shock, Zyro Wu's eyes narrowed slightly. Tang Hao was not there, and Flender was letting himself go with Grandmaster. Wasn't this the perfect time to escape? It was just unclear whether Tang Hao had really left, or was watching her from the shadows as he always had. Should she take a gamble? There was only one chance. Once the escape failed, a life of imprisonment would surely await her. She had to be cautious. After thinking for a moment, she ultimately didn't have the courage to gamble. It was better to wait for Tang San to reach rank 20. Once they went to the Stardew Great Forest, it would be her territory. Not to mention escaping. At that time, even if she wanted to kill these people, it wouldn't be a difficult task. Zyro Wu turned and walked towards her own dormitory. She was interested in listening to normal conversations, but this kind of abnormal stuff only disgusted her. Dai Mubai shook his head and left as well. Time passed bit by bit, and the room gradually returned to calm. Flender and the other gradually sobered up. Neither of them spoke, just lying there quietly. They stared blankly at the ceiling. Xiaogang was already used to it. It was just that the subject this time was a bit different. He just didn't know how to face Flender for a moment. But Flender was different. He had lived for more than half his life and had never experienced anything like this. If it had been anyone else, he would definitely have slapped them to death. Unfortunately, the other party was his old friend. The medicine was for my self-defense. After a long silence, Xiaogang broke the quiet first. He felt it necessary to explain. Although it had already happened, he didn't want Flender to misunderstand anything because of it. What's going on with your body? Flender ultimately didn't say much more, instead showing concern for his broken body. Last time he only talked about Tang San. He didn't say he had also become like this, right? Sigh. Xiaogang just sighed heavily and then silently put on his clothes. This was just an accident. I hope you won't take it to heart. And don't sink into it. Xiaogang got dressed, dropped a sentence and left the room. Flender. Why did he feel like this wasn't the first time for Xiaogang? Could it be? Flender suddenly remembered the two brothers who killed Xiao Wuji. Could Xiaogang be the same as Tang San? This possibility seemed quite high. Otherwise, how could he have been so familiar with taking himself and Xiao Wuji to that hotel back then? Chapter 85 Calamity Strike, Yuguan Gui Mei. The next day, early morning, Du Guyan and Yi Lingling knocked on Lin Chen's door early in the morning. Lin Chen, let's go play at the Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School. Upon hearing this, Lin Chen's eyes lit up. He thought to himself, is this dungeon opening up so quickly? All right. He didn't waste any more words, locked the door, and walked out of the alley with the two of them. A luxurious carriage was parked at the entrance of the alley. After getting on, Lin Chen discovered an old man sitting inside the carriage. He was wearing a plain grey robe and had a lean build. If there were no surprises, this should be Du Guyan's grandfather, Du Gubo. However, his appearance seemed somewhat different from the original work. In the original work, Du Gubo's hair and beard were all green, and even his eyes were green. But the person before him was completely normal. Lin Chen guessed this was likely because of his spirit evolution, which had suppressed or even cured the backlash of the toxins, as Du Guyan's eye color had also returned to normal. Lin Chen, sit here. Yi Lingling patted the seat beside her, signaling for Lin Chen to sit over. Lin Chen nodded and took his seat. Only then did Du Guyan introduce Lin Chen and Du Gubo to each other. Junior Lin Chen, greetings, Senior Poison Douluo. Lin Chen bowed slightly to Du Gubo without addressing him as Your Excellency. Du Gubo nodded indifferently without saying much else. My grandfather is just like this, he likes to strike a pose, don't mind him. Du Guyan rolled her eyes at her grandfather, then said to Lin Chen. Lin Chen. Good grief, in other words, isn't that just liking to act cool? Douluo's mouth twitched upon hearing this. He is a dignified titled Douluo. What's wrong with acting like an expert? In front of an outsider and a junior at that, couldn't she give him some face? HMPH. Douluo turned her head away with a haughty expression and linked arms with Yi Lingling. Seeing this, Douluo felt both angry and helpless. The carriage gradually drove out of Heaven Du City. The three of them chatted enthusiastically, while Douluo maintained his expert demeanor the entire time. Although it is said that the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School is near Heaven Du City, it is actually not close at all. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribers, and share to Infinite Novel Audio. It is a full 60+ li away. However, for a carriage pulled by domesticated spirit beasts, this distance is not really that far. About half an hour later, the carriage stopped at the plaza at the foot of the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School mountain. A tall archway stood at the end of the plaza. On the archway's horizontal board, several vigorous and powerful characters were written. 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. Behind the archway was a stairway to heaven. The 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School was at the end of this stairway. It is worth mentioning. Just as Lin Chen and the others got off the carriage, 2 figures suddenly descended from the sky. Yo, Chrysanthemum Guan, you recovered quite quickly. Douluo looked smilingly at the middle-aged man with a rather androgynous appearance and teased him. Lin Chen's pupils constricted. The 2 of them descended from the sky, which meant they must have flown directly from Heaven Du City. If following the settings of Douluo, they wouldn't be able to fly this far, which shows that this world's rules also incorporate settings from other Douluo series. In this way, his own advantage of being able to fly wasn't as significant. HMPH, you're not slow either. Yue Guan snorted coldly, his heart still retaining some frustration. It had always been him suppressing Douluo in a fight. As a result, this old guy somehow got lucky. His spirit actually mutated for no apparent reason. It would have been fine if it was just a beneficial spirit mutation, but it also gained strength and a very strong ice attribute, forcing a draw with him. A level 95 fighting a level 93, a draw is no different from a crushing defeat. Seeing that you seem a bit unconvinced, why don't we schedule another match later? The smile on Douluo's face grew wider. You think I'm afraid of you? Yue Guan was also completely unafraid, staring at him with disdain. Fine, don't leave when you come down the mountain later. Douluo just smiled slightly and turned to leave. Wait! Yue Guan called out to stop Douluo, his expression suddenly becoming serious. Douluo stopped and looked at him without speaking. Yue Guan said sternly, Old Poison, if you choose to join the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School, the consequences will be very serious. Don't blame me for not warning you then. As he spoke, he glanced at Douluo. It was as if he was saying, even if you aren't afraid, you should think more about your granddaughter. Douluo did not get angry either. My carefree days are incredibly comfortable. Unless my head was caught in a door, I wouldn't think about putting shackles on myself. He couldn't be ambiguous at a time like this. Otherwise, if Spirit Hall misunderstood, the consequences would be very serious. The strength of Spirit Hall is not something to be trifled with. To put it bluntly, even if all the forces on the continent were tied together, they wouldn't be their match. That's for the best. Yue Guan left this sentence and walked straight towards the stairway to heaven. Your Excellencies, please wait. Lin Chen seized the opportunity and called out to them from behind. Everyone present was stunned. Yue Guan and the others stopped and turned to look at Lin Chen. Something the matter. Calamity Strike Yu Guan Gui Mei successful, obtained system-granted spirit ring *2. Good grief. These titled Douluo are indeed different. He hadn't encountered any trash rewards so far, and this time he even triggered 2 system-granted spirit rings. Lin Chen suppressed the joy in his heart, pretended to wipe his right hand on the jade ring on his left index finger, and suddenly had pen, ink, and paper in his hand. He had specially prepared them yesterday. Calamity Strike titled Douluo, and at the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School, he certainly couldn't use the excuse of asking for directions, and playing the charlatan would be even worse. Lin Chen trotted over. I admire you two very much. Would you two excellencies be willing to give me an autograph? Huh. Yue Guan, Gui Mei, Du Gubo, and the two girls, Du Guyan and Yi Lingeling, were all dumbfounded. Autographs weren't popular in this world. And if they really met a titled Douluo, not many would dare to go up and ask for an autograph. Ha ha ha, sure, no problem. Yue Guan, having recovered his senses, suddenly burst into hearty laughter. Although this kid was a bit abrupt, he had said he admired him. What could he do? Who could refuse having a cute little fanboy? Yue Guan immediately took the pen and paper. He looked at the inkstone in Lin Chen's hand. It contained ink that had already been ground. It seems this little guy was prepared early on. Yue Guan immediately dipped the brush in the ink and left his name on the paper. Then he handed the pen and paper to Gui Mei. Old ghost, you sign one too. Gui Mei took the pen and paper with an expressionless face and left his name. Thank you, your excellencies. Lin Chen took the pen and paper and bowed slightly to the two. It's nothing. Yue Guan looked at Lin Chen seriously and kept him in mind. And he was no longer in a rush to go up the mountain. Lin Chen returned to the three of them and handed the pen and paper to Du Gubo. Senior Poison Douluo, would you mind signing one too? Easy, easy. Du Gubo was overjoyed upon hearing this and immediately took the pen and paper to sign his name. Du Guyan. She really didn't understand. It was just a signature. Why was her grandfather so happy? Yue Guan and the other were the same. They were titled Douluo after all. What was there to be happy about with something like this? They really couldn't understand. Chapter 86, Calamity, Strike on Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen. Everyone, please stay your steps. As the group was preparing to head up the mountain, a voice suddenly exploded in their ears. Lin Chen. Good grief, he actually called out to them. That is simply turning the world upside down. Lin Chen turned around and looked up at the sky. He saw a tall, elderly man descending rapidly from the sky. Are you Lin Chen? The old man landed, his gaze immediately falling upon Lin Chen. In the depths of his bright, piercing eyes flickered a trace of dangerous light. The person who arrived was none other than Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen. With Lao Liang and Yu Tianheng missing, the first thing he did upon arriving in Heaven Du City was to investigate the suspects. The conflict between Lin Chen and Yu Tianheng naturally could not be hidden. Even looking across their entire Spirit Master's world, this kid was absolutely the only one who dared to completely disregard their Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect. If it weren't for the investigation revealing that he was just a commoner, Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen would have suspected that the disappearance of Lao Liang and the others was related to this kid. Even so, Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen had not originally intended to let him off. However, he discovered that in just a few short days, this kid had actually gotten involved with Du Gubo's granddaughter, which forced him to abandon his initial plan. Lin Chen frowned slightly. This scent of gunpowder, there was no need to ask. It was definitely Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen. Du Gubo shifted sideways, blocking in front of Lin Chen. I have heard a thing or two about the conflict between Lin Chen and your grandson. It is quite normal for the younger generation to have their squabbles. As a dignified sect master, surely you wouldn't stoop so low as to bicker with a child, would you? Du Gubo didn't mention right or wrong, he went straight for moral grandstanding. HMPH. Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen glanced at Du Gubo and walked toward Yu Guan and his companion with a cold snort. Thank you, senior. Lin Chen bowed to Du Gubo, who simply patted his shoulder. Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen stood before Yu Guan and his companion, cupping his hands in a salute. The two of you, I do not know how Lao Liang and Tianheng have offended your noble hall, but I ask that you show mercy and spare their lives. My sect is willing to pay the price for this. Old Wang's grocery store had signs of being searched, but no signs of a battle. It was evident that Lao Liang and Tian Heng must have been captured alive. In their entire Heaven Du city, there might be many family powers capable of doing this, but the only ones who dared to ignore the consequences, or rather, did not fear the consequences, were Spirit Hall. Even looking across the entire Spirit Master's world, only Spirit Hall would dare to act in such a way. Yue Guan shook his head. After we heard about this matter, we asked Salas, but the people were not captured by our Spirit Hall. They were feeling quite frustrated themselves. Their people had just turned Yu Tianheng, and in the next moment the person was gone. Who were they supposed to reason with? Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen frowned, and in his desperation he blurted out subconsciously. If it wasn't you, then who could it be? Upon hearing this, Gui Mei narrowed his eyes, and an invisible aura suddenly permeated the air. Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen, do you think our Spirit Hall is afraid of your Blue Lightning, Tyrant Dragon Sect's retaliation? So we dare not admit to what we have done. Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen's heart tightened. He realized he had spoken incorrectly. HMPH. Yue Guan snorted coldly, flicked his sleeves and left, not giving him any chance to explain. Gui Mei immediately turned and followed. Watching the backs of the two, Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen clenched his fists involuntarily. Yet he could do nothing about them. However, upon closer thought, he felt that Gui Mei's words were not without reason. If the people were truly captured by Spirit Hall, they wouldn't deny it. Instead, they would take the opportunity to cause trouble for their Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Sect and demand benefits. But if it wasn't Spirit Hall, then who could it be? Du Gubo. That old guy protects Lin Chen so much, the possibility that it was him is not entirely non-existent. However, this possibility is not high. Du Gubo is not stupid enough to offend the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Sect for Lin Chen. The possibility of the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School is even higher than his. After all, Chen Xin happened to be crippled. Perhaps Lao Liang stumbled upon intelligence regarding this and was silenced by the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. It is not impossible. Sigh, this is troublesome. The scene didn't leave many traces, leaving him with no way to investigate. Your Excellency, please stay your steps. Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen shook his head and was about to head up the mountain when a shout suddenly exploded in his ears. He subconsciously turned his head to look at Lin Chen. Du Gubo and Yi Lingeling were also staring at him with confused expressions. No, the man just looked like he wanted to slap you to death. You aren't going to ask him for an autograph, are you? Calamity strike on Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen successful, obtained reward, Spirit Power Rank *1. Although Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen did not speak, his action of turning around counted as a response, which also triggered the Calamity strike and yielded a reward. Seeing that this reward was Spirit Power, Lin Chen was greatly satisfied. With this rank of Spirit Power, he was now rank 39. Even if he couldn't farm any more Spirit Power rewards, at most in 3 or 4 months, he would be able to enter the Spirit Ancestor realm through cultivation. This trip was definitely worth it. Never mind, it's nothing. Lin Chen seemed to suddenly remember something and shook his head with a face full of regret. Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen. Du Gubo. Lin Chen's sudden U-turn left all 4 of them speechless. HMPH. Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen snorted coldly, flicked his sleeves, turned around and walked straight up the mountain. Du Gubo couldn't help but shake his head, though he didn't say much else. He strolled slowly toward the heaven-reaching stairs. What kind of habit is this of yours? Du Guyan asked with some curiosity. She really didn't know what use there was in getting a few autographs. Lin Chen laughed, a personal hobby. You had better take it easy, not every titled Douluo has such a good temper. Du Guyan couldn't help but remind him. I will be careful. Lin Chen nodded, and Du Guyan saw this and said nothing more. The 3 of them hurried to keep up with Du Gubo's pace. The altitude where the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School was located was not low. Lin Chen and the 3 others climbed leisurely for over 10 minutes before reaching the summit. What came into view was a city that was not grand, but very exquisite. It had a bit of the concept of an immortal cultivation sect. The 7 treasure-glazed tile school disciples, who had been waiting at the sect gate, hurried over to greet them. "Everyone this way, please." Douluo didn't say much, leading the 3 of them into the 7 treasure-glazed tile school. Lin Chen looked around as he moved forward. Every building within the 7 treasure-glazed tile school exuded an air of luxury. One could only say it was worthy of being the wealthiest sect on the continent. Under the guidance of the disciple, the 4 of them arrived in a magnificent hall. Inside the hall, individual tables and chairs were placed on the left and right, with tea, snacks, and fruits on the tables. Xiaogang and his companion, who had arrived earlier, were seated in the seats of honor on the left and right. And at the seats at the end of the hall, 2 old men were sitting on the left and right of a dashing middle-aged man. One of them looked quite familiar to Lin Chen. That person was none other than Chen Xin, whom he had met once before. But at this moment, Chen Xin had changed drastically. He looked much older, and his whole body exuded an aura of twilight. It seemed he was truly crippled. Otherwise, how could he have aged to such a degree in such a short time? Chapter 87, Ning Fengzhai's Scheme. As Lin Chen and his group just entered the main hall, Chen Xin's gaze fell upon Lin Chen. He looked a bit familiar. But no matter how hard Chen Xin tried to think, he couldn't recall where he had seen him before. He simply couldn't be bothered to think about it anymore. Since he couldn't remember, it meant the other party wasn't worth worrying about. "Senior Poison Douluo, please take a seat." Ning Fengzhai rose from his seat and personally led Douluo and his group to their places. "Schoolmaster Ning is too polite." Douluo offered a lukewarm, polite remark, then led Lin Chen and the others to be seated. "Can you tell us now?" Ning Fengzhai had just returned to his seat when Xiaogang spoke up impatiently. Chen Xin was indeed crippled. Precisely because of this, he was even more curious about who had done it. Who could have such capability? Ning Fengzhai looked at Chen Xin. "Uncle Sword, why don't you tell them yourself?" They had discussed this long ago. Ning Fengzhai had originally intended to wait until he successfully recruited Douluo before announcing that Chen Xin had been crippled. But he had underestimated the intelligence networks of all parties. The entire 7 treasure-glazed tile school was like a sieve, and the information was quickly transmitted to all sides. He had just sent an invitation to Douluo, and Xiaogang and Gui Mei arrived right on his heels. Even Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen had received the intelligence immediately. This left him feeling very helpless. However, it was precisely because of this turn of events that he saw an opportunity. An opportunity to weaken Spirit Hall. Bibi Dong possessed twin spirits, and her spirit rings surely hadn't been fully replenished yet. If she knew that a lone 100,000-year spirit beast existed in the extreme north, she would definitely be unable to resist taking people to encircle and annihilate it. As long as they concealed the information that the 100,000-year spirit beast could command all the spirit beasts in the extreme north, Spirit Hall would certainly suffer heavy losses on this trip. It wasn't impossible for their entire force to be wiped out. If our side is weakened, and the enemy side is also weakened, then it is equivalent to our side not being weakened at all. Furthermore, the 7 treasure-glazed tile school only lost a crippled Chen Xin. With this trip, Spirit Hall would lose at least 3 or 5 titled Douluo. Our side makes a huge profit. As for whether Spirit Hall would hold them accountable later, they wanted to hold them accountable. They would need to have the ability to return alive and bring the information back first. That beast had just let Chen Xin bring a message back, and if Spirit Hall immediately went to encircle it, it would be a miracle if it let anyone from Spirit Hall return alive. Chen Xin nodded and looked at the crowd. The reason I have ended up in this state is because I led disciples from the sect to the extreme north to hunt for a spirit ring, and encountered a 100,000-year spirit beast. What a 100,000-year spirit beast? Xiaogang, Douluo, and the others were all shocked by this information. There was actually a 100,000-year spirit beast in the extreme north. Lin Chen, however, was full of doubts and skeptical of Chen Xin's words. He knew there were 100,000-year spirit beasts in the extreme north, and more than one at that. But the Ice Empress and the others shouldn't have easily revealed themselves. And even if they really did reveal themselves, they shouldn't have let Chen Xin return alive. How could Chen Xin possibly fight against the three great giants of the extreme north? Facing the Ice Empress and the others, Chen Xin absolutely wouldn't even have a chance to escape. There must be something fishy going on here. It was a giant ape over 100 meters tall, with a body as white as snow. Its strength is extremely powerful. Even if I exhausted all my strength, I was completely no match for it. Chen Xin recounted on his own. Lin Chen picked up a pastry, threw it into his mouth, and pondered while chewing. This story was full of loopholes. If the Titan Snow Demon King couldn't fly, then Chen Xin might have had a chance to escape, but since Gui Mei and Yu Guan could fly, there was no reason the Titan Snow Demon King couldn't. Furthermore, if the Titan Snow Demon King could cripple him, it could also kill him. And it let him run back. Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen asked directly, "Then how did you manage to escape back?" Yue Guan and the others stared fixedly at Chen Xin. Clearly, they were also curious about this point, or perhaps suspicious. Chen Xin showed a bitter smile. Since it could cripple me, it could naturally kill me. How could I have possibly escaped? Hearing this, everyone looked at each other. Before they could continue to ask, Chen Xin took the initiative to explain. It was the one that voluntarily let me return. Huh. Yue Guan and the others were all stunned. Did a 100,000-year spirit beast actually possess such benevolence? However, it didn't seem impossible. According to records, a titled Douluo once broke into the Stardew Great Forest, encountered the Titan Giant Ape and the Sky Azure Bull Python, and ultimately managed to survive by luck. And that person was even let go without a single injury. Enning Fengzhai took over the conversation at this moment. It also asked Uncle Sword to bring a message to all human spirit masters. Yue Guan hurriedly asked, "What message?" Enning Fengzhai's expression darkened, looking furious. It said, "From now on, whoever dares to step foot in the core area of the extreme north will be killed without exception. Even regular spirit ring hunting is not allowed." Hearing this, the expressions of Yu Guan and the others also darkened. But a mere beast, how dare it be so arrogant? Seeing the anger on their faces, Ning Fengzhai sneered inwardly. This was the effect he wanted. Didn't Spirit Hall pride itself on being righteous? Spirit beasts are about to ride on the heads of humans and defecate. Are you going to manage it or not? If you don't, once the news spreads, who will still believe that Spirit Hall is righteous in the future? If you do, that would be for the best. Let's see how many titled Douluo will die on this trip. A siege by a horde of beasts. Even if Spirit Hall sent out their entire force, the losses would definitely not be small. Moreover, assuming they didn't know the opponent could summon all the spirit beasts in the extreme north, he didn't believe Spirit Hall would send a very strong lineup. At most, it would just be the Elder Palace sending out their entire force. With those few characters in the Elder Palace, going there would just be courting death. After all, thousands upon thousands of 10,000-year spirit beasts were waiting for them. This was an open scheme. Regardless of how Spirit Hall chooses, the 7 treasure glazed tile school would not suffer any losses. On the contrary, it would be Spirit Hall. If they wanted to preserve their reputation, they would have to stake their lives on it. He isn't trying to trick Spirit Hall into going to their deaths, is he? Lin Chen looked at the indignant-looking Ning Fengzhai, and the more he thought about it, the more he felt it was possible. If Daitian and the others did not emerge, the extreme north was absolutely the most dangerous place on the Douluo Continent. Even the threat of the deep-sea demon whale king was not this great. Because the extreme north was sufficiently united, while the deep-sea demon whale king was just a lone wolf. If Spirit Hall really dared to go, it would purely be seeking death. Unless they called upon Kaian Dailiu and the others, they would go and not make a sound, likely not even having a chance to escape. Enning Fengzhai certainly had a lot of nerve. Wasn't he afraid of provoking Spirit Hall and getting the 7 treasure glazed tile school wiped out directly? Once the serious business was finished, the rest was just idle chatter. No one mentioned the extreme north again, nor did they mention anything about a 100,000-year spirit beast. The 2 Yu Guan and his companion did not express their stance either. The 2 stayed for a while and then left, having no intention of staying for lunch. Douluo Bo, however, was kept behind by Ning Fengzhai. Although Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen had not been invited, for some reason he still remained. "Someone come here!" Enning Fengzhai shouted towards the outside of the hall, and a disciple immediately trotted in. "Take these young friends out for a stroll." As he spoke, Ning Fengzhai looked at Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen, looking as if he had something to say but hesitated. "I shall also go out and get some fresh air." Chapter 88, Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen's Triple Burst. Anyone with discerning eyes could see that Ning Fengzhai and his group wanted to have a private talk with Douluo Bo. Naturally, Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen would not be so tactless. Although he also had business with Ning Fengzhai, there was no need to rush it. "You all go out and play for a while." Although Douluo Bo had no intention of joining the 7 treasure glazed tile school, he still had to give some face, and he also wanted to see what kind of terms the other party could offer. "All right." Lin Chen and the other 2 rose one after another and walked out of the hall, one step behind Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen. "Your Excellency, please stay your steps." The moment they stepped out of the hall doors, Lin Chen called out to Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen again. "Douluo Yan, Yi Lingaling." They truly could not understand how a person could be so stubborn for the sake of a personal hobby. You beat up his grandson and you still want to ask him for an autograph. Isn't that just talking nonsense? Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen's just taken step paused, and he turned to look at Lin Chen with a sunken face. "You had better really have something important." His tone was very cold, and he was clearly on the verge of exploding. At the same time, a wisp of black Kai drilled into the center of his brow. Calamity strike on Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen successful, obtained reward, Spirit Power rank *1. Very good, with this level of spirit power, he was only 1 spirit ring away from becoming a spirit ancestor. Lin Chen took a deep breath, looking very nervous. "Your Excellency Thunder, I called out to you because I wanted to apologize." Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen. Douluo Yan and Yi Lingaling also looked at Lin Chen with bewildered expressions. Wasn't he going to ask for an autograph? I was indeed a bit impulsive that day, but there was nothing I could do. His hand was about to slap me in the face. I couldn't just stand there and let him hit me, could I? Lin Chen appeared to be apologizing, but in reality, he was expressing that Yu Tianheng was too arrogant. However, combined with his aggrieved expression, there was no fault to find. "Enough, could I really hold a grudge against a child like you?" Seeing his aggrieved appearance, Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen did not find it appropriate to say anything more. After all, it was just a squabble between children. Since the other party had apologized, what more did he want? As the dignified sect master of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect, he couldn't possibly keep holding onto a child, could he? He couldn't afford to lose that kind of face. After Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen finished speaking, he turned to leave, but Lin Chen spoke up again. "Your Excellency, please stay your steps." Douluo Yan. Good grief, why is this calling endless? Yi Lingaling couldn't help but tug on his sleeve, then gave him a look indicating that was enough. "Who?" Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen took a deep breath, suppressing the inexplicable irritation rising in his heart. He turned to look at Lin Chen without speaking. Calamity strike on Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen successful, obtained reward, system granted Spirit ring *1. Good heavens, a triple burst. As expected of a titled Douluo, he did not disappoint me for taking such a big risk. Lin Chen hurriedly took out pen, ink, and paper. "Your Excellency, I have always admired you. Could you please sign an autograph for me?" Yi Lingaling. Douluo Yan. What was meant to come finally came, this damn personal hobby. Sect Master Xiaogang was full of question marks. Someone who beat up his grandson suddenly says he admires you very much. Who wouldn't be confused by that? Moreover, from the moment they met until now, he hadn't seen this kid show even a shred of admiration for him. Sect Master Xiaogang looked down. Good grief, 3 names on 1 piece of paper. He wasn't even willing to change the paper. However, as the saying goes, one does not hit a smiling face. Since the other party said they admired him, if he didn't sign, it would make him look petty. Sect Master Xiaogang took the brush and quickly finished the signature. Nothing else now, right? Lin Chen took back the brush handed to him, a smile piling up on his face. Thank you, Your Excellency, that is all. Sect Master Xiaogang turned and left, and this time Lin Chen did not call him back. Enough is enough, calling him again would be impolite. You. Douluo wanted to speak but stopped, her expression showing she didn't know what to say. Lin Chen grinned and put away the pen, ink, and paper. 3 spirit rings, 2 levels of spirit power. This trip was truly worthwhile. Yilingaling also couldn't help but shake her head. 3 guests, please, this way. Seeing they were finished, the 7 treasure-glazed tile school disciple waiting nearby made a gesture of invitation, then led the way for the 3, walking half a step ahead. A sect has many places that are not open to outsiders. There weren't many good places to go. The other party just took the 3 of them around, introducing the situation of the sect and what each building was used for. You bastard, are your eyes growing on your butt? A sudden sharp shout caught the attention of Lin Chen and the others. They looked towards the sound. They saw a young girl who didn't look very old glaring at a young man. Lin Chen was not unfamiliar with that young girl. It was Ning Rongrong, whom they had met when they first arrived in Heaven Du City. And that young man, he looked quite old, but facing Ning Rongrong, he was full of panic, nodding and bowing, appearing extremely servile. That is our sect master's daughter. Because she inexplicably contracted a strange illness, her temperament underwent a huge change, which is why she has become like this now. The disciple responsible for getting them looked embarrassed, trying his best to make excuses for Ning Rongrong. Although the previous Ning Rongrong was similar, she wasn't as exaggerated as she was now, so his words weren't entirely a lie. Lin Chen and the others did not say much. Enning Fengzhai's parenting issues were not for outsiders like them to judge. Let's go look over there. The guiding disciple wanted to lead the 3 of them around, as the sect master had specifically asked Ning Rongrong to stay in the courtyard today, fearing she would clash with Douluo. But for some reason, she still ran out. The 3 nodded and prepared to follow the guiding disciple away. Stop! Ning Rongrong shouted sharply, then ran over in a rage. You are the ones who caused me to be grounded, right? Before she even arrived, her resentful questioning voice arrived first. Lin Chen and the others paused their steps. Junior sister Rongrong. The guiding disciple's expression changed, and he hurriedly called out to stop her. Ning Rongrong acted as if she hadn't heard. Coming closer, she saw Douluo and the others who had turned around. So it's you. When she saw Douluo, her tone and expression became noticeably softer. She had been wondering why her father wanted to ground her. So the visitor was Douluo's granddaughter. It seemed her father wanted to win over Douluo. Young Miss Rongrong, what is your instruction? Douluo did not change her expression, but her tone carried a hint of sarcasm. She had seen shameless people, but she had never seen anyone as shameless as Ning Rongrong. What did she mean by them causing her to be grounded? Didn't she have any idea why she was grounded? Ning Rongrong did not answer. Her gaze fell on Lin Chen, and she frowned slightly. Have we met somewhere before? She felt this person was a bit familiar, but she couldn't quite remember where. Oh, I remember now. Chapter 89, The Impudent Ning Rongrong. Aren't you that person who tried to cozy up to me back then, only to be shut down by me? As she spoke, Ning Rongrong cast a glance at Douluo. Since it didn't work out with me, you turned around and clung to Douluo. You're quite capable, aren't you? A trace of mockery appeared on her face involuntarily. She looked as if she despised Lin Chen. Du Guyan and Yi Lingling were taken aback upon hearing this. Lin Chen, on the other hand, was amused to the point of anger by her. Young Miss Rongrong, you've got that wrong. It wasn't that Lin Chen wanted to cling to us, but rather that we insisted on pestering him. Coming back to her senses, Yi Lingling revealed a businesslike smile. Enning Rongrong, however, refused to listen at all. You don't need to make excuses for him. I've seen plenty of people like this. Born lowly, yet always dreaming of climbing up to a higher branch. You two are just too naive, but it's not too late to see him for what he really is now. She shook her head, her tone full of preakiness. Lin Chen asked with a smile, I wonder, what exactly do you mean by lowly? Enning Rongrong blurted out. What else could it be? Naturally, it refers to a commoner like you with absolutely no background. Lin Chen laughed, laughing quite happily. You should spend more time reading your family genealogy. If you go back a dozen generations, the Enning family's origins might not be any more noble than mine. Insolent, how dare you insult my ancestors? Do you have a death wish? Enning Rongrong was furious. I told you to read your genealogy. How did that become insulting your ancestors? What? Could it be that the ancestors of the Enning family were also the lowly commoners you speak of? Tusk. I actually thought you Nings were born as unreachable nobles. A faint smile remained on Lin Chen's face. You're courting death. Enning Rongrong raised her hand and slapped towards Lin Chen's face. Du Guyan grabbed her wrist. She stared coldly at Ning Rongrong, her tone even colder. Enning Rongrong. It's none of my business if you act like a spoiled young miss in front of others, but if you try to throw your weight around in front of me, I won't tolerate it. Others might fear you, Ning Rongrong, but I certainly don't. With that, she gave a forceful push, sending Ning Rongrong staggering. If it hadn't been for the quick-acting guide disciple who caught her, she definitely would have fallen on her backside. You can insult others, but when someone asks you to check your genealogy, you get upset. I've truly seen the upbringing provided by Schoolmaster Ning today. Du Guyan was full of mockery. You. Upon hearing this, Ning Rongrong's face flushed red, but she was helpless against her. She suddenly looked at Lin Chen. A coward who only hides behind women, do you even count as a man? Lin Chen smiled faintly and took a step forward. And then? Are you planning to smash me to death with your 7-treasure glazed tile pagoda, or are you going to tell a joke to laugh me to death? Du Guyan and the other girl couldn't help but laugh out loud upon hearing this. Their laughter was like a sharp blade, piercing deep into Ning Rongrong's heart and severely wounding her innate sense of superiority and self-esteem. She was the little princess of the 7-treasure glazed tile school, showered with boundless affection. Since she was born, who had ever dared to embarrass her like this? Are you a dead man? Can't you see I'm being bullied? Enning Rongrong snapped her head around to look at the guide disciple. Junior sister, they are distinguished guests invited by the sect master. The guide disciple looked troubled, but secretly felt an inexplicable sense of satisfaction. Fine. You traitor, helping outsiders to bully me, right? Someone, where the hell is everyone? Enning Rongrong was infuriated, attracting the patrolling disciples who rushed over. Lin Chen's expression suddenly darkened. It seems the unbearable abdominal pain was still too light. I need to give her something more stimulating. P.S. In the previous text, it was face completely ruined, but due to some reasons, it has been changed to unbearable abdominal pain. Du Guyan's expression also darkened, and she stared coldly at Ning Rongrong. Enning Rongrong, I advise you to think carefully. If you dare to go crazy, I guarantee that only Gu Rong will survive in your 7-treasure glazed tile school. If you don't believe me, feel free to try. Enning Rongrong's heart skipped a beat, and her anger inexplicably subsided quite a bit. Du Gubo was not someone to be trifled with. His solo combat ability might be lacking, but he was notoriously invincible in group battles. especially since he was currently inside the sect. If he were truly provoked, anyone below the rank of titled Douluo in the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School would not be able to survive. The many disciples who had rushed over looked at each other in dismay upon hearing this. Finally, they all cast their gazes toward Ning Rongrong. Junior sister, stop making a scene. If the sect master finds out you treated his distinguished guests this way, he will confine you for at least 3 to 5 months. You don't want to be confined, do you? The guide disciple knew that Ning Rongrong was already cornered. He immediately offered her an out. Who would have thought that Ning Rongrong would not only refuse to accept it, but instead, she seemed to have found a vent for her anger. You bastard, daring to be a traitor. Take him away and give him 300 strokes of the cane, if anyone dares to go easy on him. Then they will be punished along with him. Upon hearing this, the guide disciple's eyes widened in disbelief. Good grief, how can this person not tell good from bad? The other disciples were also dumbfounded, and for a moment, no one made a move. What the hell are you all standing there for? Seeing that her words were ineffective, Ning Rongrong became even more furious. Lin Chen couldn't help but shake his head. Compared to this, the Ning Rongrong in the original work was nothing. Let's go, take us back, Lin Chen said to the guide disciple, which could be considered helping him out of the awkward situation. As long as they met Ning Fengzhai, he should be able to avoid this punishment of 300 strokes. It's just that he would probably be given a hard time in the future. But that was not something Lin Chen needed to worry about. This was the limit of what he could do. Yes, the 3 of you this way, please. The guide disciple understood and hurriedly turned to make a gesture of invitation. Bastard, did I tell you to leave? Ning Rongrong was furious, raised her leg, and kicked directly at the guide disciple's lower leg. Even a clay figurine has a temper, right? Let alone a living person, and a spirit master with the strength of a spirit ancestor at that. The guide disciple just shifted 1 step to the left, and Ning Rongrong's kick immediately missed, her body stumbling forward due to momentum. Junior sister, be careful, you're all grown up now, why are you so reckless? The guide disciple caught Ning Rongrong. Ning Rongrong pushed him away violently, shaking with anger. She pointed at the guide disciple with a trembling finger. Fine, you've got guts. You just wait until I tell Grandpa Sword and Grandpa Bone. Let's see how you die. Ning Rongrong ran off after saying this, heading straight to the front hall to complain. Lin Chen watched her back, sneering endlessly. Du Guyan and Yi Lingling felt disgusted, but didn't take it to heart. The guide disciple, however, was indifferent. If he had to be punished for this, then there was no need to stay in this lousy sect. The 3 of you, please. The guide disciple made the gesture of invitation again, then led the way in front. The 3 of them followed immediately. Chapter 90, Calamity Strike Gu Rong, a perfect conclusion. If Senior Poison Douluo is willing to join our 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School, our 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School is willing to offer 3 spirit bones over 10,000 years old as a betrothal gift. After chatting for a long time, Ning Fengzhai finally brought up the most critical bargaining chip. 3 spirit bones. Over 10,000 years old. Du Gubo was dumbfounded, thinking to himself that the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School truly lived up to its reputation. They offered 3 spirit bones without even blinking. However, one didn't even need to think to know. Those 3 spirit bones most likely did not have the effect of increasing spirit power. Otherwise, Gu Rong would have already reached level 96. Of course, at the very least, 3 spirit bones could still provide 3 spirit abilities. And after the benign mutation of Du Gubo's spirit, what he lacked was powerful offensive spirit power. If the attributes matched, his strength could be significantly improved. Furthermore, even if he couldn't use them, he could save them for his granddaughter. For a moment, Du Gubo was actually a bit tempted. But after thinking about it carefully, although spirit bones were good, he would have to shackle himself to obtain them. It wasn't worth it. Furthermore, Bibaidong was ambitious, and a war between Spirit Hall and the upper three sects was inevitable. Once he joined the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School, he would be unable to stay out of it. This was likely the severe consequence Yu Guan had spoken of. Just as Du Gubo was thinking about how to refuse, a commotion came from outside the hall. "Rongrongs, you cannot go in. Get lost." The words had barely faded when Ning Rongrong rushed in. Enning Fengzhai stood up abruptly. "Nonsense." His expression was grim, and his tone revealed immense anger. It would be one thing if his daughter was making a fuss at other times. But at such a critical moment in recruiting Du Gubo, how could he allow her to act so recklessly? "Grandpa Bone." Enning Rongrong didn't even look at Ning Fengzhai. With red eyes, she ran toward Bone Douluo. Upon reaching him, she threw herself directly into Gu Rong's arms. "Grandpa Bone, someone bullied Rongrong. You must stand up for Rongrong." "Sigh." Gu Rong couldn't help but sigh, gently stroking her head. "Rongrong, can we talk about this later?" Things needed to be prioritized. Moreover, based on his understanding of Rongrong, the so-called bullying was most likely fabricated. Or she was the one who bullied others first, only to fail to get the upper hand. "Grandpa Bone, are you not going to help Rongrong either?" Enning Rongrong looked up, her eyes teary, which made Gu Rong's heart ache. Enning Fengzhai looked at Chen Xin, who immediately stood up. "Rongrong, Old Bone and your father have important matters to attend to. Shall Grandpa Sword go and avenge you instead?" Although he was retired, his status and position were still there. Within the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School, who would dare ignore him? Moreover, the most critical thing right now was to get Rongrong to leave. "Grandpa." Just as Du Gubo was about to take the opportunity to stand up, his granddaughter's voice came from outside the hall. Following closely, Lin Chen and the other 3 walked in. "Grandpa, let's go back quickly. This 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School is too terrifying. I'm afraid if we stay any longer, I won't even be able to save my own life." Du Guyan looked shaken. The expressions of Ning Fengzhai and the other 2 changed, and they all looked at Ning Rongrong simultaneously. One didn't need to think to know that she must have had a fit and annoyed Du Guyan. As a doting father and grandfather, they knew all too well how much Du Guyan's attitude could influence Du Gubo. To put it bluntly, Du Guyan's attitude might be even more important than Du Gubo's own. "What is going on?" Du Gubo narrowed his eyes, and an invisible aura spread throughout the hall. Du Guyan looked coldly at Ning Rongrong. "We were just strolling along fine, but she came up and said that because of us, she was grounded, and she even insulted Lin Chen, calling him a lowly person. I was thinking, the Enning ancestors seem to have been commoners, right? She, on the other hand, thinks it's fine for her to insult others, but not for others to speak about her. She immediately called over many fellow disciples, ready to fight and kill at the slightest disagreement. Heh, isn't it just tattling, as if anyone doesn't know how to do that?" She knew her grandfather had no intention of joining the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. It was perfect to use Ning Rongrong as a shield to see if she would get reprimanded. "Rongrong." Enning Fengzhai was furious. He strode forward and yanked her out of Gu Rong's arms. Slap! A crisp slapping sound rang out in the hall, and the entire hall fell silent. Enning Rongrong was completely stunned by the slap. She covered her face, looking at her father in disbelief. She even ignored the pain and forgot to cry. Since she was born, when had her father ever hit her so hard? Today, for the sake of a few outsiders, her father had actually struck her so heavily. Chen Xin and Gu Rong looked heartbroken, but they did not speak up to blame him. This slap needed to be given, and it had to be given. Otherwise, let alone recruiting Du Gubo, it would be good if they didn't end up patting them because of this. Coming to her senses, Ning Rongrong did not scream or shout. She just turned around with tears in her eyes and walked silently toward the outside of the hall. Rongrong. Chen Xin and Gu Rong's expressions changed, both sensing something was wrong with her. No crying, no fussing, she was clearly truly heartbroken. Enning Rongrong did not pause at all and walked straight out of the main hall. Chen Xin gave Gu Rong a look and then chased after her. Apologies, the child doesn't know any better. I've let you see something embarrassing. Enning Fengzhai said to Du Gubo and the others. He also felt some regret, but this was clearly not the time for regret. Du Gubo took the opportunity to stand up. Schoolmaster Enning, I am used to being free. I have never liked being bound, so let's just forget about joining the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. Enning Fengzhai was neither annoyed nor angry, his face still beaming with a spring breeze-like smile. Senior, there is no need to rush your answer. You can go back and consider it slowly. The doors of my 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School will always be open to you. Farewell. Du Gubo said no more, cupped his hands in a salute, and walked toward the outside of the hall. Lin Chen saw this and thought it was a pity. Given the current situation, it was clearly not appropriate to ask Gu Rong for an autograph. This dungeon run was not perfect. Let me see you out, Senior. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribers, and share to Infinite Novel Audio. Enning Fengzhai hurriedly followed, and Gu Rong also followed by his side. Lin Chen saw this and felt like there was still a chance. The group headed all the way toward the mountain gate of the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. Lin Chen deliberately lagged behind by a step. Your Excellency Bone Douluo, please stay. Lin Chen shouted in a low voice, not waiting until they were outside the sect to speak. Yi Lingaling. Du Guyan. Good heavens, things had become such a mess, and he still hadn't forgotten his hobby. It was outrageous. Gu Rong was also stunned for a moment, but he still stopped. He turned to look at Lin Chen. Something up. Calamity Strike Gu Rong successful, received reward, system granted spirit ring *1. That feels good. Lin Chen hurriedly took out pen, ink, and paper, looking at him with admiration. I have heard of your deeds since I was young, and admire you very much. Could you please leave some calligraphy to give me some motivation for my journey to cultivate? Gu Rong was stunned at first, then laughed heartily. No problem. Even a Bone Douluo couldn't refuse gaining a little fanboy. But the next second his smile froze. So as long as it's a titled Douluo, you admire them all, right? Chapter 91, Lin Chen's Planning. Sigh, Uncle Gu, you really can't keep spoiling Rongrong anymore. Look at what happened today. Because of her little stunt, the already slim hope has been completely extinguished. Enning Fengzhai said with a sigh. Rongrong wasn't this unreasonable before, it's all the fault of that damned guy. Gu Rong clenched his fists, his eyes cold and grim. The damned guy he mentioned was, naturally, the person who made Rongrong sick. Enning Fengzhai shook his head. Anyway, please try to control your doting a little. If this continues, she will cause a huge disaster sooner or later. The sect can no longer withstand any more turmoil. Hearing this, Gu Rong nodded silently. But in his heart, he wasn't sure if he could actually do it. He couldn't bring himself to refuse her. Enning Fengzhai looked to the side. Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen definitely came for the spirit bone. What do you think? Gu Rong gave a disdainful smile. A spirit bone is not a gold coin. It's not something he can just ask for and receive. Besides, the few spirit bones we have won't satisfy his requirements. Just as Du Gubo had guessed, the few spirit bones in the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School's inventory did not have the effect of increasing spirit power, otherwise they wouldn't have remained in stock. If there were any spirit bones that could increase spirit power, who wouldn't want to take them out to cultivate a titled Douluo? Enning Fengzhai narrowed his eyes slightly. I actually think we shouldn't be in a rush to refuse. We might be able to take this opportunity to test why the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect is suddenly in such a hurry to acquire spirit bones. Gu Rong pondered for a moment. Then handle it as you see fit. I'm going to check on Rongrong. I hope she doesn't do anything foolish. Enning Fengzhai nodded, not forcing him to stay, and accompany him to receive Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen. The upper 3 sects are supposed to be like branches of the same tree. While this is often just empty talk, they wouldn't easily tear off the mask of civility between them. Receiving Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen carried no risk. Besides, everyone was quite familiar with each other, so there was no need to be overly formal. Grandpa, what benefits did the 7 treasure glazed tile school promise you? Douluo Yan asked curiously. Hearing this, Yi Lingling and Lin Chen also looked at him with curiosity. To recruit a titled Douluo, especially one with such high strategic value as Douluo, the 7 treasure glazed tile school's offer shouldn't be low, right? Douluo said nonchalantly, just 310,000 year spirit bones. How many? Douluo Yan's eyes widened, her face full of disbelief. 310,000 year spirit bones, just that. Those were 310,000 year spirit bones. How could they sound as worthless as 3 gold coins coming out of Grandpa's mouth? Douluo shook his head. What they can offer are nothing more than some spirit bones that can enhance mental force or attributes. Their value is far lower than the risks that joining them might bring. Douluo Yan thought about it carefully, and it seemed to be the case. It was better to be free and at ease, regardless of how big the conflicts between the various parties became. The grandfather and granddaughter could both stay out of it. Douluo looked at Lin Chen. Little guy, what rank are you at now? A spirit master's rank can only be judged through spirit power testing and the number of spirit rings. Even a titled Douluo cannot perceive another person's specific rank. However, it is possible to get a rough idea through the strength of their mental force. Lin Chen's mental force was not weak. Therefore, Douluo was very curious about his current spirit power rank. Yi Lingling and Douluo Yan both looked at Lin Chen. They were equally curious about Lin Chen's rank, but every time they asked, he would give a vague answer to brush them off. Around rank 20. A spirit grandmaster. Douluo did not suspect anything, after all, according to his investigation. Lin Chen was only 8 years old this year. An 8-year-old spirit grandmaster was already terrifying enough. Anything higher would be abnormal. It was just that. Being just a spirit grandmaster, but having mental force not inferior to a spirit king. This kid's spirit quality is very high, and there's a high probability that it's of the mental type. But that makes sense, to be able to cultivate to rank 20 at just 8 years old. It would be strange if his spirit quality were low. On the way back to Heaven Du City, while chatting with Douluo Yan and Yi Lingling, Lin Chen pondered how to execute his planned scheme. Last time there was a small conflict with Ning Rongrong, and then she suddenly came down with a strange illness. If he were to inflict another illness or bad luck on her this time, it would be very easy to be suspected. Therefore, Lin Chen did not intend to target Ning Rongrong this time. Didn't Ning Fengzhai want to trick Spirit Hall into going to the extreme north to die? Then he would tell Spirit Hall the truth. Lin Chen didn't believe that Spirit Hall would be able to resist taking action against the 7 treasure glazed tile school after knowing the truth. Even if they didn't wipe them out directly, they would definitely make them pay a certain price. As for Ning Rongrong, good food is worth waiting for. It wouldn't be too late to deal with her after this storm passed. It's just that. How to convey the message to Spirit Hall while keeping himself out of it was something that needed careful consideration. It was worth thinking about carefully. But it wasn't a difficult task. Lin Chen quickly came up with a plan. It's going to rain. Douluo's sudden remark caught Lin Chen off guard. He lifted the carriage curtain and looked out. Sure enough, the sky had darkened at some point, accompanied by flashes of light, clearly a sign of an impending heavy rain. My grandpa used to have an old ailment where his whole body would itch whenever it was cloudy or rainy. Although he's better now, he retained the ability to perceive the weather. Douluo Yan covered her mouth and giggled. Lin Chen. Good grief, is this what they call a blessing in disguise? Lin Chen shook his head inwardly. After returning to Heaven Du City, Douluo had the coachman take Lin Chen home. Watching the carriage gradually move away, Lin Chen looked up at the sky. Thick dark clouds piled up high in the sky, and strong winds swept across the land. A heavy rainstorm was approaching. The heavy rain would wash away all traces, making it perfect for delivering the message to the Heaven Du Palace. He would wait until the rain started before doing anything. Lin Chen turned and returned home, immediately receiving the 2 ranks of spirit power. His spirit power rank officially reached rank 40. He only needed to head to the Sunset Forest tomorrow to hunt for a spirit ring to achieve the unprecedented feat of becoming an 8-year-old spirit ancestor. Moreover, his 4th ring could fully withstand a spirit ring of around 20,000 years. Based on previous experience, a 20,000-year spirit ring would at least bring him 4 or 5 ranks of spirit power, allowing him to climb directly to rank 44 or 45. Even if he couldn't grind out more spirit power ranks afterward, he would be able to step into the Spirit King level in at most 2 years or so. Just as Lin Chen was immersed in the joy of his breakthrough. On the other side, Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen also left the 7 treasure glazed tile school with a dark face. Not only did he fail to get any spirit bones, but that dog Ning Fengzhai even wanted to probe for information about Xiao Wu. Of course, revealing that was impossible. Such intelligence about a 100,000-year spirit beast in human form, how could it be easily revealed to outsiders? Let alone outsiders. Even within the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect, no one knew about it to this day. He hadn't told anyone, because no one knew exactly how many traitors were in the family. Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen looked up at the sky. Looking at the sky full of black clouds and the strong winds sweeping across the land, he was completely unafraid and soared straight into the sky. Chapter 92, Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen gets struck by lightning. Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen was speeding through the high sky, pondering whom he should arrange to take over Old Liang's work. As for finding the people, there were still no clues, and they definitely couldn't be found. He would just consider them dead. For now, the priority remained acquiring spirit bones to cultivate someone to level 90. Rumble, the dark clouds suddenly lit up, followed by a deafening clap of thunder. Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen only glanced at it indifferently. He had flown in the rain many times, but he had never been struck by lightning. There was nothing to be afraid of. What Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen did not know was that times had changed. The black kai accumulated between his brows had already silently begun to spread. Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen soon arrived at Heaven Du City and was just preparing to descend when the dim sky suddenly lit up. A bolt of thunder shot out from the clouds, striking directly towards Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen below. In that instant, every hair on Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen's body stood on end, and alarm bells rang frantically in his heart. It's not good. Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen secretly thought it was bad and instinctively dodged rapidly backward. Fortunately, that thunderbolt did not have the ability to lock on and track. Rumble, the deafening thunder made Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen's head buzz. Damn it, why am I so unlucky today? Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen looked up at the clouds above with lingering fear. He dared not stay in the high sky any longer. Just as he intended to go down, more thunder rushed out from the clouds. Moreover, this time it was not just one bolt. Damn! Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen couldn't help but curse under his breath and immediately released his spirit. As he dodged the first bolt of thunder, his 7th spirit ring suddenly shone. In the blink of an eye, he had transformed into a blue lightning tyrant dragon, over 30 meters long. Rumble, bolt after bolt of thunder fell, and every single target was Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen. Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen cursed loudly as his massive dragon body flew rapidly toward Heaven Du City. But how could his speed compare to lightning? Furthermore, after his dragon transformation, his size had greatly increased, making his target even clearer. A bolt of thunder struck him precisely. Bang! A crisp, deafening sound of a thunder strike suddenly exploded over Heaven Du City. Which fellow Taoist is undergoing tribulation here? Lin Chen watched the sky with a confused expression, blurting it out subconsciously. He clearly saw a dragon being struck by lightning. The dragon was quite agile, dodging bolt after bolt of thunder. Unfortunately, in the end, it still couldn't completely dodge, and was struck head-on by a bolt of thunder. At that very moment, the dragon was struck back into a human form, falling straight toward Heaven Du City. Along with that person, a torrential downpour also fell. It wouldn't be Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen, would it? If the opponent hadn't been struck back into human form, he would have thought Dai Tian had run to Heaven Du City to undergo tribulation. Since it had revealed a human form, it was highly likely a human. And among human spirit masters, only the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect had a spirit that was a dragon. Idiot! Flying in the sky on a rainy day, if you don't get struck by lightning, who will? You don't have any common scientific sense. Lin Chen couldn't help but shake his head, turning around to return inside. On the other side, Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen slammed heavily onto the empty street. The Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon's lightning resistance was high enough, especially since Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen was still in his spirit avatar state. Otherwise, he would likely be a corpse by now. However, even so, he was severely injured. Coupled with the violent collision from falling from the sky, his bones felt like they were falling apart, and his kai and blood were surging. Patong! Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen violently spat out a mouthful of blood, his head tilted to the side, and he passed out. In Heaven Du City, there were many people who saw Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen undergoing tribulation, including intelligence personnel belonging to the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect hiding in Heaven Du City. The moment they saw Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen fall, they rushed toward this direction. Seeing Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen lying there charred on the outside and tender on the inside, like a corpse, the intelligence personnel were greatly alarmed. Sect Master! They hurriedly rushed to his side and knelt down to check on Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen's condition. Fortunately, he had only passed out. However, after careful examination, everyone unconsciously furrowed their brows. Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen's condition was very bad, worse than it appeared on the surface. The kai, blood, and spirit power inside his body were in chaos, and his meridians had also suffered significant trauma. If they could not be sorted out in time, the consequences would be unimaginable. Even if he received timely treatment, given his situation, a significant drop in strength was inevitable. If things went wrong, he might even fall out of the titled Douluo realm. Hiss! If the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect lost its title Douluo, the consequences would be unimaginable. Everyone hurriedly picked up Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen and rushed straight to Blue Bar Academy. They couldn't trust any outsiders with this matter, and could only go to Blue Bar Academy to find Liu Erlong. It was impossible for a high-level Spirit Master Academy not to have high-level Healing Soul Masters. They sped all the way and soon arrived at Blue Bar Academy. They started shouting as soon as they rushed into the academy. "We are disciples of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect. Quickly call your dean, Liu Erlong, to come here, and quickly call all the Healing Soul Masters in your academy." The shouting immediately alarmed the entire Blue Bar Academy, and even Liu Erlong, who usually didn't interfere much with academy affairs, rushed out rapidly. What is going on? Seeing Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen seriously injured, Liu Erlong's expression changed drastically. Save him first. The dignified sect master of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect, a titled Douluo most skilled at playing with lightning, ended up being struck by lightning and seriously injured. It couldn't be more embarrassing. For the sake of the sect master's face, it was better not to make this matter public. Perhaps many people in Heaven Du City saw it, but as long as the information didn't spread from their mouths, then it couldn't be blamed on them. Upon hearing this, Liu Erlong didn't ask any more questions and immediately ordered people to call several Healing Soul Masters from the academy. External injuries were a minor matter. A few healing spirit abilities later, he recovered. What was difficult to handle were the internal injuries. Everyone tried their best, but they only just managed to preserve Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen's titled Douluo strength. After the treatment, Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen slowly woke up. Upon feeling his own strength, he immediately fell into endless silence. It never rains, but it pours. Now could he really defeat Tang Hao and snatch that 100,000-year spirit beast? On a stormy day, the sky darkened quickly. Seeing that it was about time, Lin Chen braved the heavy rain and walked out of his house. He arrived near the spirit hall Heaven Dew Sanctuary, observed the Heaven Dew Sanctuary from afar, and then his figure suddenly disappeared from where he stood. When he appeared again, he was already in a pitch-black office. He didn't know whose office this was, only that this was the only office without any light, which was perfect for him to sneakily leave a letter. As long as the information appeared in Spirit Hall, it would naturally be delivered to Bishop Salah's hands. Unless his luck was extremely terrible, and the owner of this office happened to be a mole planted by the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School, there would absolutely be no issues. Lin Chen placed the prepared letter on the table, and then disappeared again. Chapter 93, 20,000 Year Swordtail Dragon Lizard. The next day, early morning. After eating breakfast, Lin Chen took a carriage to the Sunset Forest. Half a month later, he had returned. Last time, because of Qian Renxiu and the others, he had wasted a system-granted spirit ring. He shouldn't be so unlucky this time, right? After entering the Sunset Forest, Lin Chen headed straight for the core area, where the 10,000-year spirit beasts resided. Only then did he begin to search at a leisurely pace. While Lin Chen was still searching for a suitable spirit beast in the Sunset Forest, a swift red falcon flew out from the Spirit Hall Heaven Dew Sanctuary, heading straight for Spirit City. Falcon-type spirit beasts were the fastest spirit beasts in the natural world. And the swift red falcon was the cream of the crop among them. Even a 100-year level swift red falcon could reach a normal flight speed of 300 to 500 kilometers per hour, while a 1,000-year level one could reach over 1,000 kilometers per hour. Because of their exceptional speed, major factions liked to domesticate them for intelligence transmission, greatly ensuring the timeliness of information. Spirit City was only a little over 1,200 kilometers away from Heaven Dew City. Before noon, the swift red falcon that had set off from Heaven Dew City had already landed in Spirit City. The person who received the intelligence turned pale. Without much hesitation, he immediately presented the intelligence to Bibaidong. "This is aimed at me." After reading it, Bibaidong unconsciously crushed the intelligence tightly in her palm. Her eyes also became extremely cold. In the entire Spirit Master's world, who didn't know that she Bibaidong possessed twin spirits? The 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School suddenly revealed intelligence about a 100,000-year spirit beast, and they had even hidden the crucial details. It was clearly an attempt to trick her into going to her death. She hadn't made a move against the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School yet, but they had set their sights on her instead. It was simply outrageous. It was a pity that her strength had not yet reached the point where she could ignore the consecration hall. Otherwise, she would have immediately mobilized troops to destroy the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. However, this matter could not just be let go. Bibaidong looked at the person below and asked, "Have Yu Guan and the other returned?" "Not yet." The person delivering the intelligence hurriedly saluted, his tone and expression full of respect. "Tell Devil Bear and the others to come see me." A cold, sinister smile could not help but appear on Bibaidong's face. Didn't Ning Fengzhai want to weaken Spirit Hall? She wanted to see how the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School would survive if Gu Rong died as well. The richest sect on the continent. Without sufficient strength to protect its wealth, wasn't it just a piece of fat meat? "Yes." The person below acknowledged the order and saluted, then turned and left the Supreme Pontiff Palace. Not long after that person left, Devil Bear Douluo, Ghost Leopard Douluo, and Ling Yuan Douluo walked in. No need for formalities. Bibaidong waved her sleeve, directly interrupting the 3 who were about to salute. "The 3 of you go to the Heaven Dew Empire and join forces with Yu Guan and the other to kill the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School's Gu Rong. Remember to act in secret and do not leave any evidence behind." Upon hearing this, the 3 were all shocked. Everything was fine, so why were they suddenly going to make a move against the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School? Wasn't it a bit too sudden? However, confusion was one thing, but how could the 3 of them dare to say no? "Yes." Right, also check who sent the intelligence to the Heaven Du Sanctuary. Bibi Dong suddenly remembered this point. It would be no exaggeration to say that this piece of intelligence had saved her life. Yet the source of the intelligence was unknown. The intelligence report stated that someone had placed it on a desk in an office at the Heaven Du Sanctuary without anyone noticing. Yes. The three saluted again, then turned and walked out of the palace. 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. Gu Rong and Chen Xin sat opposite each other, both with expressions full of worry. Their precious Rongrong had run away from home. It was all Ning Fengzhai's fault if he hadn't slapped Rongrong yesterday. How could Rongrong have run away from home? Duh. Hearing footsteps, the two turned their heads and saw Ning Fengzhai walking over. HMPH. Seeing this, the two snorted coldly in unison and turned their heads, not giving him any pleasant expressions at all. Ning Fengzhai shook his head helplessly. I had someone disguise themselves as a carriage driver, intending to send her to the Balak Kingdom. Upon hearing this, the two were both stunned. Bang! Regaining his senses, Gu Rong was full of anger and slammed the table as he stood up. Have you lost your mind? You sent Rongrong so far away, what if something happens to her? Do you intend to let her stay outside forever? Chen Xin said nothing, only coldly staring at Ning Fengzhai. Ning Fengzhai remained calm. Have you ever thought about why Rongrong has become the way she is now? Gu Rong and Chen Xin's expressions stiffened. Ning Fengzhai continued, since she chose to run away from home, we might as well take this opportunity to let her experience the hardships of the world. Only in this way can she possibly break those bad habits. There is a rinky-dink Spirit Master Academy in the Balak Kingdom with harsh conditions, but the Academy's dean has the strength of a spirit saint. He can ensure Rongrong's safety and also let her experience the hardships of life. Moreover, the carriage driver I arranged is also an attack system spirit saint. After he delivers Rongrong, he will stay there and look after her in the shadows. The two finally breathed a sigh of relief. In a small place like the Balak Kingdom, a spirit saint still held significant weight. But there are many harsh environments. You didn't have to send her so far away, did you? With this, it won't be easy for us to see her. Gu Rong said with a very unhappy face. Chen Xin was also full of desolation. Now that his strength was gone, he didn't have many years left to live. Ning Fengzhai just had to send Rongrong so far away at this time. Would he be able to see Rongrong again in his lifetime? However, he said nothing. Rongrong had indeed been spoiled by them. It was necessary to correct her behavior, otherwise she would inevitably suffer a great loss in the future. After all, the mess that was the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School would eventually need her to shoulder it. He and Old Bones couldn't protect her forever. Ning Fengzhai really wanted to say, if she doesn't stay away from you, what's the point? However, some things could not be said directly. I won't let her stay there for too long either. When it's about time, I will go and bring her back. I won't let you be separated for too long. What else could Gu Rong and Chen Xin say? They could only pray silently in their hearts, praying that Rongrong would grow up quickly. Lin Chen searched painstakingly in the Sunset Forest for a full 3 days, before finally finding a spirit beast, whose age and attributes were quite compatible. It was a lizard over 5 meters long, with a body that was completely azure blue. It had a long tail resembling a bone blade, which swayed like a double-edged sword, flexible yet sharp. A 20,000-year sword-tailed dragon lizard. The sword-tailed dragon lizard was a dual-attribute spirit beast of metal and lightning, with the bloodline of a lightning dragon flowing through its body. It was said to be a lineage born from the union of a lightning dragon and a type of metal attribute lizard. Based on its attributes and characteristics, Lin Chen could even roughly estimate what kind of spirit power he would gain after absorbing its spirit ring. Chapter 94, Ning Fengzhai's Fear. The sword-tailed dragon lizard was lying on the grass, basking in the sun, when it suddenly felt a sharp pain in the back of its head. Then, and that was the end of it. Lin Chen stood on the corpse of the sword-tailed dragon lizard, watching the black spirit ring slowly rise, the corners of his mouth curling up involuntarily. This breathless instant shadow kill is certainly useful. If not for the breathless instant shadow kill, he feared he would not have been able to avoid a bitter battle today. Although it might not have been that bitter, it certainly wouldn't have been as clean as it was just now. Without much hesitation, Lin Chen sat cross-legged, directly on the corpse of the sword-tailed dragon lizard. He began to absorb the spirit ring. A 20,000 year spirit ring posed no great pressure to Lin Chen. Soon his bottleneck was broken through. With the influx of a large amount of spirit power, his spirit power rank began to soar. At the same time, information about the spirit ability was fed back into his mind. After an unknown amount of time, Lin Chen slowly opened his eyes and stood up. The heavenly thunder whip was in his right hand. Yellow, purple, black, 4 spirit rings pulsated rhythmically around him. Lin Chen held the heavenly thunder whip horizontally and circulated his spirit power. As the 4th spirit ring flared, his heavenly thunder suddenly surged to 30 meters, and dense purple lightning condensed into a blade along the whip. A 30-meter-long lightning blade was thus formed. Putting aside its power for a moment, imagine a 30-meter blade slashing towards you. Would you say you'd be scared or not? You must know the spirit avatar of many tool spirit masters is only 30 to 50 meters long. Lin Chen gripped the handle of the whip with both hands and swung the 30-meter blade in a horizontal slash. Wherever the lightning blade passed, towering trees snapped in response. Before they could even hit the ground, the lightning swirling around the whip ignited them. Those trees that had not yet fallen turned to ashes in the blink of an eye. Lin Chen spun around as if throwing a shot put, and all the vegetation within a 30-meter radius was annihilated by this single strike, forming a vacuum zone. Looking at the 30-meter radius vacuum zone, Lin Chen nodded with satisfaction. Let's call this move Heavenly Thunder Sky-Splitting Slash. Lin Chen retracted his spirit and looked down at the spirit beast corpse at his feet. He had hunted 3 spirit beasts, and this one was even a 20,000 year spirit beast with decent quality, yet not only did it not drop an external spirit bone, it didn't even drop a regular spirit bone. If one were to say his luck was bad, he happened to encounter so many high-quality spirit beasts. If one were to say his luck was good, Lin Chen shook his head, jumped off the corpse, and walked towards the outside of the Sunset Forest. At night, the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. Under the cover of night, the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School was still brightly lit, but apart from the patrolling and guard disciples, no one else was to be seen. Who is there? Catch him! The sharp shouts of the patrolling disciples completely shattered the tranquility of the night. Nearby patrolling disciples swarmed over. However, the mysterious person, shrouded in a black robe, possessed astonishing speed. He easily broke through the encirclement. Stop! Seeing that the opponent was not someone they, as low-rank spirit masters, could deal with, the patrolling disciples immediately circulated their spirit power and let out a long whistle. This long whistle echoed throughout most of the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. Many high-level members were awakened one after another. The moment Gu Rong opened his eyes, his mental force surged out of his body. It directly enveloped the entire 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. A spirit Douluo won. Confirming that the opponent was alone, he did not hesitate to rush out of his room and chase straight after the mysterious person who had already rushed out of the mountain gate. Ning Fengzhai had just rushed out of the door when he saw Gu Rong dashing out. Uncle Gu, come back. Looking at the entire continent, who would dare to trespass into their 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School? Even if the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School now only had Gu Rong as its sole titled Douluo. Something strange must be afoot. The opponent was either trying to lure the tiger away from the mountain or trying to draw Uncle Gu out. No matter which it was, he must not pursue. However, Gu Rong's speed was too fast. By the time Ning Fengzhai's voice rang out, he had already rushed out of the mountain gate and hadn't heard what Ning Fengzhai was shouting at all. What happened? Chen Xin no longer possessed the strength of a titled Douluo, so his reaction was not as fast as Ning Fengzhai's. By the time he rushed out, Gu Rong's figure was long gone. He frowned and looked at the solemn-faced Ning Fengzhai. Ning Fengzhai's brows were tightly knitted as he told him his guess. Chen Xin's heart skipped a beat. The people from the spirit hall had confirmed he was crippled just before, and now this happened immediately after. It was hard not to be suspicious. Level 1 alert. Ning Fengzhai circulated his spirit power, his sharp shout echoing throughout the entire Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School. The many disciples of the Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School, upon hearing Ning Fengzhai's order, immediately responded and climbed onto the city walls, remaining vigilant in all directions. Chen Xin asked, "Should we send an elder to pursue?" Ning Fengzhai shook his head. "If we rashly disperse our forces now, we will only lose on both fronts, and who within the sect can catch up to Uncle Gu?" Chen Xin frowned slightly. If they couldn't catch up to the old bone, couldn't they at least catch up to that intruder? He understood the old bone. If the intruder were a titled Douluo, he certainly wouldn't have chased him out. If they weren't a titled Douluo, how fast could their speed be? If the opponent had come for the sect, and the old bone had been lured away, leaving only a bunch of weaklings behind, how could they withstand a potential attack? After all, without a titled Douluo, who would dare to attack the Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School? And if the opponent had come for the old bone, it was even more necessary to chase after him and call him back. Who knows how many titled Douluos were waiting for him in the dark? At the very least, it was proof of one titled Douluo plus multiple spirit Douluos. The old bone was not good at fighting, and his speed was not considered fast among titled Douluos. Once surrounded, it would almost certainly mean death. Chen Xin looked sideways at Ning Fengzhai. He saw that he was clenching his fists tightly, his body trembling slightly. There was even a hint of fear in his expression. Ning Fengzhai's heart was in chaos. This intrusion was definitely not without reason. Someone must be trying to make a move against the Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School. The most likely possibility was the Spirit Hall. If the Spirit Hall were to get serious, there was absolutely no possibility for their Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School to survive. Given this, how could he not be afraid? Precisely because of this, he had made a decision that Chen Xin could not understand. Fengzhai. Chen Xin's hand landed on Ning Fengzhai's shoulder, and he cast an encouraging look. Ning Fengzhai looked sideways. Although Chen Xin was already crippled, his gaze was full of strength. This made Ning Fengzhai calm down a little. Ning Fengzhai asked, "Uncle Sword, tell me, can we survive this disaster?" Chen Xin shook his head. "Now is not the time to talk about this. The most urgent matter is to send someone to bring the old bone back." "But, no buts." Chen Xin interrupted directly, because he knew that Ning Fengzhai did not have much rationality left, and he had to help him make the correct decision. "Who?" Ning Fengzhai exhaled heavily, then mobilized his spirit power. "Elder Luo, please trouble yourself to go and bring back Uncle Gu." An old man standing on the city wall heard this, suddenly released his spirit, lit up his seventh spirit ring, and turned into a huge eagle, rushing out of the Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School. Chapter 95, Gu Rong Disconnects. Gu Rong chased all the way out of the Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School, but he discovered that without activating his spirit, he was actually unable to catch up to the other party. No wonder this fellow dared to break into the Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School at night. It turns out he was relying on his speed. "I don't care who you are. Since you dared to break into the Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School at night, you must leave your life behind." Gu Rong let out a long whistle. 9 spirit rings, 2 yellow, 2 purple, and 5 black, rose from beneath his feet one by one. The moment the spirit rings appeared, his 7th spirit ring suddenly shone brightly. As the light of his spirit power spread from between his brows, his body was constantly stretched and extended. In an instant, Gu Rong transformed into a massive bone dragon. Having activated his spirit avatar, his speed suddenly increased by a significant margin. However, the mysterious person ahead also activated his spirit avatar at almost the same time, transforming into a massive swift red falcon. Although the mysterious person was only a spirit Douluo, his spirit granted him what could be called ultimate speed, which meant that even Gu Rong, a titled Douluo, could not close the distance for a moment. Damn it! Seeing the other party's spirit, Gu Rong couldn't help but curse under his breath. The swift red falcon is famously fast. A spirit Douluo level swift red falcon can only be caught by an agility attack system titled Douluo, or a spirit Douluo level needle-tailed swift. Gu Rong knew deep down that there was no point in continuing to chase. He could not catch up to the other party. Not good, I've been tricked. Just as Gu Rong was preparing to retreat, he felt 5 waves of titled Douluo level spirit power emerging from 5 directions, which shocked him so much that his expression changed drastically. Immobilizing domain of 2 extremes. A sharp voice suddenly exploded, and everything around them came to a standstill. It's over. The moment Gu Rong heard Yu Guan's voice, he knew he was doomed today. The immobilizing domain of 2 extremes of Yu Guan and Gui Mei was quite famous in the Spirit Master's world, and at this moment, Gu Rong could not move a single bit. Almost at the same time, 3 brilliant spirit abilities suddenly shattered the darkness. They struck from 3 different directions, simultaneously at the immobile Gu Rong. Gu Rong wanted to resist, but he was powerless to do so. He could only watch helplessly as the 3 spirit abilities landed, until his consciousness was completely swallowed by darkness. Rumble! A massive roar exploded under the night sky, and Gu Rong's corpse plummeted towards the ground, slamming heavily onto the earth. The dignified Bone Douluo had died in just an instant. He hadn't been able to stir up any waves. Gui Mei's figure appeared before Gu Rong's corpse like a ghost. One can tell a lot from a corpse, so naturally, they couldn't leave Gu Rong's body there for the people of the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School to find. After collecting Gu Rong's corpse, the 5 of them, including Yu Guan, quickly left the scene. Not long after the 5 of them left, Elder Luo of the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School finally arrived late. Feeling the energy aura that had not yet completely dissipated in the air, and the aura belonging to Gu Rong on the residual bloodstains on the ground, his expression instantly dimmed. It's over, it's completely over now. Why was the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School able to become the continent's #1 support sect? It wasn't because the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School was so strong, but because it had 2 titled Douluos who could protect the support spirit masters who joined the sect. Now that both titled Douluos were finished, who would still be willing to stay in the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School? Support spirit masters are highly sought after everywhere. They would be well treated in any faction, especially high-ranking support spirit masters. Instead of staying in a sect without the protection of a titled Douluo, why wouldn't they go to Spirit Hall or the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect? Not to mention Spirit Hall, the continent's #1 spirit master faction. And the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect also held the title of the continent's #1 beast spirit. If they went there, they might even be able to snag a Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon wife. It can be foreseen that, in the coming days, the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School will surely see a large number of disciples leaving the sect. Its commercial interests will also be constantly plundered. Don't talk about maintaining the glory of the upper 3 sects. It would be good enough if they could just ensure the sect doesn't fall apart. It seems I need to make plans early. Elder Luo pondered for a while, and then returned to the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. He was unsure if the other party was only targeting Gu Rong, or if they wanted to attack the entire 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. If it was the latter, returning would be courting death. However, his family was still in the sect, so he could not just leave. He only hoped it was the former. Inside the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School, Ning Fengzhai and Chen Xin waited anxiously. Finally, Elder Luo returned. But when they saw that Elder Luo had returned alone, an ominous premonition arose spontaneously. "Hose, how did it go?" The 2 of them stepped forward and Ning Fengzhai asked, stuttering. "Sigh." Elder Luo shook his head and let out a heavy sigh again. "When I arrived, the scene only had some residual spirit power auras and bloodstains on the ground. Elder Bone, I'm afraid he has already. Saying this, Elder Liu said no more, but the meaning was very clear. The two were struck as if by lightning, instantly standing frozen on the spot. Impossible, absolutely impossible. How could Uncle Bone be so vulnerable? Enning Fengzhai glared fiercely at Elder Luo. Uncle Bone is a dignified titled Douluo. Even if besieged, it is impossible for him to be defeated so quickly. That is definitely not Uncle Bone's bloodstain. It must be that Uncle Bone injured that intruder and then chased after him. Chen Xin, however, unconsciously clenched his fists. Old Bone might really have already. Thinking of this, tears unconsciously dripped from the corners of his eyes. The two had been together for so many years. Even if they didn't bicker for a day, they wouldn't feel right, and now Old Bone had left before him. As Chen Xin thought about it, his throat grew hot, and a mouthful of blood spewed out. Uncle Sword. Enning Fengzhai was shocked and hurriedly supported the swaying Chen Xin. After steadying himself, Chen Xin waved his hand and broke free from Ning Fengzhai's embrace. He looked at Elder Luo with his last shred of hope. Are you sure? Elder Luo said. The aura at the scene was mixed. At least 5 people attacked, and judging by the intensity of the residual auras, those 5 might all be titled Douluos. And on the residual bloodstains, there indeed remained the aura of Bone Douluo. Unless the other party wanted to capture Bone Douluo alive, he is likely in grave danger, and even if they wanted to capture him alive, there is a high probability they wouldn't let him come back alive. Upon hearing this, Ning Fengzhai felt as if the sky had collapsed. All his strength was drained away, and he slumped to the ground, his whole person as if he had lost his soul, his eyes becoming extremely hollow. Chen Xin did not go to support him, but instead looked up and closed his eyes. Tears flowed down his cheeks like a bursting flood. Old Bone, he is in grave danger. As for who exactly did it, there was no need to think. It was definitely Spirit Hall. Only they could send out so many titled Douluos at the same time. But what is the use of knowing? They had no evidence and they had no strength. Knowing was useless anyway. Chapter 96, Zyro Wu's opportunity finally arrives. Just after Lin Chen returned to Heaven Du City, he received a piece of news that shocked him immensely. Gu Rong was dead. It was being discussed in every street and alley, and it was said that the news had come from within the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. Good grief. When it comes to the desire for revenge, women really are something, aren't they? How many days has it even been? He had gone to hunt a spirit ring. It had been no more than 4 days in total, and a titled Douluo had just died like that. This was getting interesting. The 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School controlled so much wealth and so many spirit masters of the support system. Without a titled Douluo, could they hold on to it? With this turn of events, let alone maintaining the prestige of the upper 3 sects, they would be lucky not to be cast into the abyss. I wonder if, the next time we meet, the high and mighty young Miss Rongrong will still be able to hold her head so high. Lin Chen smiled slightly, ate lunch, and returned home. Things went exactly as Lin Chen had expected. In the days that followed, intelligence regarding the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile Pagoda continued to emerge. First, within the sect. The 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School had several elders who were not related by marriage to the Enning family, and they took away all the disciples who were not related to the Enning family. One had to know that in the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School, outsiders made up the majority of the disciples. With them gone, the number of disciples in the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School plummeted by 3/5. It would be no exaggeration to say that this was a strike at their jugular. The current 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School had a comprehensive strength that didn't even match the lower 4 sects. What was most surprising was that all those who left joined Spirit Hall. Although there was no direct evidence, anyone who wasn't a fool could guess that Gu Rong's death was definitely related to Spirit Hall, because only they possessed such strength. And the fact that those people joined Spirit Hall after betraying the sect, wouldn't that just infuriate Ning Fengzhai to death? The 7 great families followed closely behind, launching an incredibly fierce offensive against the business sectors of the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School, using every means possible. In just 3 short months, the businesses of the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School suffered heavy losses. And this was just the beginning. If this continued, the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School would inevitably fall into the abyss. However, it was also at this time that the situation took a turn for the better. Sect Master Yu Yuanzhen of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Sect paid a visit to the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School, and upon his return, he announced to the entire Spirit Master's world that they would protect the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. Of course, the words weren't so direct or arrogant. Instead, he spoke about how the upper 3 sects were of one mind and one branch. Going against the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School was the same as going against them, the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Sect and the Clear Sky Sect. The Clear Sky Sect had already closed its mountains, yet he still insisted on dragging them into this. It was evident that he wasn't very confident. Or perhaps he was leaving himself a way out. Once the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School was formally removed from the upper 3 sects, he could naturally retract his words from today. What happened to the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School didn't have much to do with Lin Chen. Every day he simply cultivated, used Calamity Strike to farm rewards, and lived his life like a robot with a set program. However, occasionally having a beauty by his side made life not entirely dull. Of course, he hadn't forgotten to renew the subscription for Tang San and the others. Lo and behold, today was the monthly renewal time. Who was it that was up this time? Lin Chen couldn't quite remember, so he simply decided to select Tang Hao. Activate. Lin Chen performed a series of hand seals, and lines of karma appeared before his eyes. After 7 months of arduous cultivation, Tang San and Xiaogang both broke through to level 20. It was also at this time that Tang Hao returned, right on schedule. It wasn't that he was worried about Tang San running into any trouble while hunting his second spirit ring. He was mainly worried about Xiaogang. He still didn't believe that Xiaogang would honestly stay by his son's side. Hunting for a spirit ring was an opportunity for her. Therefore, Tang Hao had to return to keep an eye on her, lest she take the opportunity to escape. Seeing Tang Hao again, Xiaogang was actually quite excited. It's good that you're back. If you hadn't come back, I really wouldn't have known what to do with you. Just you wait. When we get to the Stardew Great Forest, I'll show you how I deal with you. Greetings, Clear Sky Crown. My name is Ning Rongrong, and Ning Fengzhai is my father. I often hear my father speak of you. Ning Rongrong bowed respectfully. Tang Hao couldn't help but be stunned. He truly hadn't expected that Ning Fengzhai would actually send his own daughter to a godforsaken place like Shrek. However, if it was to seek refuge, it seemed quite reasonable. Although he had no leads, he had been blindly searching for Yin during this time, and had also heard about the plight of the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. So in his view, the reason Ning Fengzhai had sent Ning Rongrong to Shrek was to seek refuge, to preserve a sliver of his bloodline. As one of the upper 3 sects, the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School had fallen to such a state. This inevitably gave him a sense of, if the lips are gone, the teeth will be cold. No one knew when Spirit Hall's butcher knife would fall upon the Clear Sky sect. He only hoped they would be a little slower. As long as Little Sang grew up, everything would still have a chance. My condolences. Tang Hao looked at Ning Rongrong, his expression revealing a faint sense of pity. Ning Rongrong was completely bewildered. I greeted you, and you tell me to accept my condolences. Is this person sick in the head? Ahem. Flender hurriedly coughed twice, frantically signaling to Tang Hao with his eyes. Tang Hao frowned slightly. Seeing that he didn't seem to understand, Flender had no choice but to pull him aside. She doesn't know yet that a tragedy has occurred at home. Tang Hao couldn't help but be stunned. He had thought that Ning Fengzhai had only sent Ning Rongrong over to seek refuge after the tragedy at the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. So it turns out she had come before that. Tang Hao looked left and right, then looked at Flender and said, "You are a bit remote here, but surely not to this extent, right?" The plight of the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School had already spread across the entire continent. Shrek Academy was remote, but it wasn't far from Suituo City. If Ning Rongrong took a trip to Suituo City, wouldn't she know everything? And with such a big thing happening, didn't Ning Fengzhai send someone to pick her up? Flender explained, the people from the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School asked me to help keep it a secret, so for the past 6 months, I haven't allowed them to enter the city. A look of realization appeared on Tang Hao's face. If they didn't enter the city and just stayed in this dilapidated academy, they really wouldn't receive any news. There was just one thing he didn't understand. Gu Rong was dead. Shouldn't the first priority have been to let Ning Rongrong go back to pay her respects? What was the point of hiding it? Perhaps they were afraid that she was too young and wouldn't be able to bear such a blow. Tang Hao shook his head and didn't ask any further. Little San, Zyro Wu, let's go. To avoid unnecessary trouble, Tang Hao didn't intend to take anyone else on this trip. He didn't even need to take Zyro Wu. After all, after 100,000 year spirit beast takes human form, there is no need to hunt spirit beasts for the first few spirit rings. But it would be hard to explain if he didn't take her. Zyro Wu's true identity was inconvenient and could not be known by too many people. So it was better to bring her along. Zyro Wu, let's go. Tang San wanted to hold Zyro Wu's hand, but she dodged it without leaving a trace. Seeing this, Tang Hao couldn't help but shake his head. This was exactly why he wasn't at ease with Zyro Wu. He couldn't see any love from Zyro Wu for Tang San. Tang San didn't feel awkward because he was already used to it. He firmly believed that his persistence would one day be able to move Zyro Wu. Chapter 97 Ming, kill them. Tang Hao's flight speed was very fast, and he arrived at his destination in just a few hours. As the largest spirit beast forest on the Douluo Continent, the vegetation in the Stardew Great Forest was far denser than in any other forest. The light within the jungle was dim, and the air was exceptionally humid. Returning once again to this primitive jungle, where she had lived for who knows how many years, Zyro Wu's mood brightened considerably. At the same time, she was silently praying in her heart. She could not contact Da Ming or Ming, and could only pray that after they sensed her aura, they would be able to come out of the core area. Otherwise, she would still have no chance to escape. Little San, do you have any thoughts regarding your second spirit ring? Tang Hao looked at his son. He wanted to see just how much his son had actually learned from following Xiaogang. I want to continue strengthening its toughness and toxicity. If possible, it would be best to have some branching methods, as that would be more conducive to my control. Tang San stated his teacher's ideas without hesitation. In his eyes, his teacher's theories were invincible. Following his teacher's line of thinking would certainly not lead to any problems. Upon hearing this, Tang Hao shook his head. Enhancing toxicity and toughness is not difficult, but branching is not very realistic. Whether it is crowd control or group attacks, those are effects that can only be possessed by spirit rings over 10,000 years old. Xiaogang really was full of hot air. He didn't even know such basic knowledge. Seeing that his father seemed to have misunderstood something, Tang San hurriedly explained. It's not a group control spirit ability, but rather allowing the spirit itself to possess the ability to branch, so it can release multiple branches simultaneously. Rongrong taught me their 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School's heart separation control. If my spirit can divide into multiple branches, then I will be able to control multiple targets at the same time. Tang Hao couldn't help but be stunned. Good grief. How long have Little San and Ning Rongrong even known each other? Ning Rongrong actually passed on the sect's secret technique to Little San just like that. What kind of spendthrift is this? If Ning Fengzhai found out about Ning Rongrong's actions, he would probably hang her up and beat her for at least 3 days and 3 nights, right? However, if he has heart separation control, Little San's line of thinking is indeed feasible. It might not have as significant an effect as a group control spirit ability, but it would indeed give Little San an additional means of group restraint. It's just hard to say whether he could actually control the enemy. After all, enemies are not wooden stakes. They won't just stand there and let you control them, and multiple enemies certainly won't stand in the positions you anticipate for you to control them. Then tell me which spirit beasts can achieve your expected effect. Tang Hao continued to examine him. Regarding this question, Tang San hardly hesitated and reeled off over a dozen types of spirit beasts. This made Tang Hao very satisfied. Setting other things aside, in terms of spirit beast knowledge, Little San had learned it very thoroughly. Just like that, the three of them, amidst the father and son's Q&A, gradually entered the 100-year spirit beast zone. Xiao Wu had no heart to pay attention to the Q&A between Tang San and his father. All her thoughts were now on the core area, secretly hopping for a familiar figure to appear. The 100-year zone was still very far from the core area, but given Da Ming and Ming's strength, they should already be able to sense her aura. Now it just depended on whether they would leave the core area and come out to find her. Da Ming, Ming, you must come. Xiao Wu's whole heart was in the core area, but she didn't reveal it in the slightest, not even glancing at the direction of the core area. A titled Douluo's mental force is very powerful. Although Tang Hao's gaze was not on her, any subtle expression of hers would certainly not escape his mental force perception. If she let him detect anything unusual, and he took her away from the Stardew Great Forest, then all her plans would fall apart. If she missed this opportunity, basically the same chance would never happen again in the future. Do you want to have your breakthrough first? Tang Hao suddenly looked at Xiao Wu. Although he knew that a spirit beast in human form could condense spirit rings by itself in the early stages, he had never seen it before. So he was still somewhat curious. Okay. Tang Hao's words were exactly what Xiao Wu wanted. Before Da Ming and Ming arrived, every bit of strength she could gain was worth it. Tang San, on the other hand, was completely confused. He didn't know that a spirit beast in human form could autonomously condense spirit rings, so seeing Xiao Wu sit cross-legged, he couldn't help but look at his father with great curiosity. Dad, can Xiao Wu have a breakthrough directly, without hunting a spirit beast? Yes, for a 100,000-year spirit beast in human form, the first few spirit rings can be condensed directly by itself, but I am not clear on the specific details. Tang Hao told his son the description he had once seen in a book. Upon hearing this, Tang San was extremely surprised and immediately stared fixedly at Xiao Wu, very curious about how she would condense the spirit ring. Changes appeared very quickly. Dots of yellow light emerged above Xiao Wu's head, constantly blending and condensing, gradually forming the shape of a spirit ring. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribers, and share to Infinite Novel Audio. Until they completely solidified into a yellow spirit ring, which then suddenly settled onto Xiao Wu's body. Xiao Wu's expression was very natural, without any look of pain, showing that the spirit ring she condensed herself did not bring any burden to her body. This is possible too. Tang San looked at Xiao Wu, dumbfounded, his face full of shock. Tang Hao was also full of surprise. Condensing a spirit ring by oneself, such a method was completely beyond his scope of understanding. However, once he thought about the fact that she was originally a spirit beast, there was nothing worth being surprised about. Xiao Wu's condensation of the spirit ring was very simple, taking less than an hour in total, and the whole process was completely painless. She slowly opened her eyes, understanding why Da Ming and Ming had not yet arrived. They didn't know she was currently in a dangerous situation, so even if they were coming out, they would definitely be walking out slowly. This process would take at least 3 to 5 hours. I'm done. Xiao Wu stood up. Let's go. Tang Hao replied indifferently, then walked straight ahead. It's the same old saying, it's not an easy task for a spirit master to find a spirit beast that is suitable in all aspects. This thing is all about luck. And the luck of Tang Hao's group of 3 was obviously not very good. They searched for an entire afternoon and didn't even see the shadow of a suitable spirit beast. Without realizing it, the sky had darkened. Just as Tang Hao was preparing to find a place to camp, his footsteps paused, and he suddenly turned his head to look in the direction of the core area. Dad, what's wrong? Seeing his father's expression become incomparably solemn, Tang San also became nervous. On Xiao Wu's face, however, a trace of excitement involuntarily appeared. She had sensed Ming's aura. Although only Ming had come, she had absolute confidence in Ming's strength. Dealing with a Tang Hao certainly wouldn't be a problem. Go! Tang Hao did not hesitate at all and grabbed Tang San's shoulder, but when he wanted to grab Xiao Wu suddenly rushed out. Ming, kill them! Chapter 98, Simp San acts up. Ming was originally moving along leisurely, but the moment it heard Xiao Wu's voice, a flash of ferocity instantly rose in the depths of his eyes. He bent his legs slightly, and his body leaped into the air. His seemingly cumbersome body actually flew straight up, completely ignoring the obstacles along the way, flying directly towards the direction where Xiao Wu was located. Rumble! Ming was like a launched missile. No matter how thick or hard the trees along the way were, they were all snapped by his sturdy body. On the other side, Tang Hao never expected that Xiao Wu would actually have an unknown relationship with the Titan giant ape, known as the King of the Forest. Furthermore, in order to find her, the Titan giant ape had actually walked out of the core area. HMPH. Tang Hao's cold snort suddenly exploded in Xiao Wu's ears, and at the same time, a pressure so powerful that she was powerless to resist descended upon her. Bang! Xiao Wu had only just run a few steps when her body was instantly pressed to the ground by that terrifying pressure, unable to move at all. Father! Although Tang San was still a bit confused about the specific situation, the killing intent in his father's eyes was exceptionally clear to him. Once Xiao Wu was caught and brought back, she would certainly not have a good ending. He absolutely would not allow anyone to harm Xiao Wu, even if she had just shown killing intent towards him, and even if the one who wanted to harm her was his own father. Bastard! Tang Hao was furious and violently shook off Tang San's hand. Love is indeed very sacred, and even worth giving up one's life for, but the prerequisite is that this love must be mutual. Unrequited love, can that even be called love? How can this kind of worthless love be compared to 100,000-year spirit ring or spirit bone? Father! Tang San shouted sharply to stop Tang Hao, while simultaneously raising his right hand and pointing it at his own chin. Father, I will not allow anyone to harm her. You are my father, so I naturally will not attack you, but if you insist on harming her, then I will choose to go to the Yellow Springs with her. Tang Hao's footsteps paused, and he turned to look at his son with an incredulous expression. You bastard, you would, for... Father! Tang San spoke up directly to interrupt Tang Hao's unspoken rebuke, his eyes filled with determination. There is not much time left, please make your choice. As he spoke, he glanced into the depths of the Stardew Great Forest, as if to remind his father that the existence that even he felt wary of was coming. Tang Hao suddenly chuckled, but it was not hard to see from his increasingly tightly clenched fists that he was not laughing because he was happy. He was laughing out of anger. He had asked that trash Yu Xiaogang to help his son win over Xiao Wu, but what kind of nonsense had that trash actually taught him? How did a perfectly fine person get taught by him to act like a dog? To save a woman who had been shouting about killing him just a moment ago, he would actually go so far as to threaten his own father with his life. Is this something a human would do? Although he wished he could immediately beat this bastard up, the environment and situation clearly did not allow him to do so. The Titan giant ape was about to arrive. As for gambling on whether that brat was just putting on an act and forcibly abducting Xiao Wu, that definitely wouldn't work. As someone who has been through it, he knew all too well the state that Brat was in right now. Love makes people lose their reason. If he dared to forcibly abduct Xiao Wu, that Brat would absolutely attack him without the slightest hesitation. The little gadgets that Brat made had quite high lethality against low-rank spirit masters, and by then, he wouldn't even have time to save him. HMPH. With a cold snort, Tang Hao glanced back at Xiao Wu, then withdrew his pressure and walked straight towards Tang San. The pressure on her body disappeared. Xiao Wu did not hesitate at all. Her figure instantly rushed into the dense forest, without even once looking back at Tang San throughout the whole process. Tang San stood there like a wooden stake, watching Xiao Wu disappear from sight with longing eyes. Slap! Tang Hao walked up to him and slapped him across the face, knocking Tang San directly to the ground. Still holding it up, damn it. Tang San didn't even let out a soft groan. He just wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and silently stood up. He kept his head down, not daring to look into his father's eyes. He knew what he did was wrong, but he had no choice. Even if he were given 10,000 more chances, he would still do the same thing. I'll deal with you when we get back. Tang Hao looked at his son with a face full of frustration, glared at him fiercely, then grabbed his shoulder and soared into the sky with him. It's raw. A deafening roar came, followed by an indescribable gravity. It was the Titan giant ape's gravity domain. He did not intend to let the father and son off, just because Tang Hao had let Xiao Wu go. Whoever dared to bully his big sister Xiao Wu had to pay with their life. He absolutely could not let the two of them leave today. That invisible gravity caused Tang Hao's body to sink uncontrollably. His body was affected by the gravity domain, and he was slowly falling towards the ground, his flight speed significantly reduced. Damn it! Tang Hao couldn't help but curse under his breath. The clear sky hammer instantly appeared in his right hand, and 9 spirit rings rose one by one from beneath his feet. Following the release of his spirit, the impact of the gravity domain was somewhat alleviated. However, it was only alleviated. In this state, it was impossible for him to shake off the Titan giant ape's pursuit, unless he could instantly rush out of the range of that gravity domain. Look at the good work you've done. Tang Hao now inexplicably had the urge to strangle Tang San to death. If it weren't for his foolishness, they would have already escaped with Xiao Wu. Even if the Titan giant ape was arrogant, it wouldn't dare to pursue them into the human world. Now look at this mess, right? Not only did the 100,000-year spirit ring and spirit bone run away, but they were also in a dangerous situation. With his current crippled body, he was simply no match for the Titan giant ape. Even if he just wanted to escape, he would probably have to pay a price. Father, I'm sorry. Tang San knew full well that it was because of him that the two of them were in such a dangerous situation, but he didn't have even a trace of regret in his heart. As the saying goes, even if he were given 10,000 more chances, he would still do the same thing. Sorry is useless. I will hold him off. You find a chance to slip away. Remember, as long as you escape, I can escape at any time, so don't do anything stupid again. Tang Hao did not trust his son at all right now, so he had to emphasize his words repeatedly, lest he drop the ball again at a critical moment. After saying this, Tang Hao landed and put Tang San down. But the moment he touched the ground, Tang San collapsed straight onto the ground. Previously, he had his father to block it for him, so he hadn't felt anything, but only now did he truly understand the terror of that gravity. Tang Hao ignored him, raised the clear sky hammer, and charged towards the Titan giant ape. The gravity domain was not lethal, and it couldn't be maintained forever. As long as he waited for the domain to dissipate, little Sam would naturally be able to escape. Chapter 99, Tang Hao vs. Ming. Tang Hao had not walked far before he suddenly stopped, his gaze burning as he stared ahead. The 7th spirit ring on his body bloomed at this moment. 7th spirit ability, Clear Sky Avatar. A blood-red radiance of spirit power suddenly erupted from within Tang Hao, and a thick, tangible blood-colored mist swept in all directions. His body began to expand and grow taller, and a layer of dark red luster suffused his skin. In an instant, he merged with the clear sky hammer in his hand, transforming into a dark red giant manifestation, dozens of meters tall. The clear sky hammer in the manifestation's hand also surged to a size of dozens of meters. It was also at this moment that the Titan giant ape broke through tree after tree, charging out from the dense forest. He punched toward Tang Hao without a shred of fear. His fist, resembling a giant boulder, was wrapped in a layer of mysterious yellow light. A single glance was enough to make one feel an indescribable sense of weight and power, making Tang Hao not dare to underestimate it in the slightest. Clear Sky 9 Absolutes break style. As Tang Hao shouted sharply, he swung the clear sky hammer in his hand, smashing it fiercely toward the Titan giant ape. Boom! The moment the fist and hammer collided, a deafening roar erupted, and the shockwave of the explosion spread in all directions like a curtain of water. Wherever the explosion's energy wave passed, all vegetation was ground into dust. Facing what was Tang Hao's strongest strike aside from ring explosion, the Titan giant ape only took a few steps back, whereas Tang Hao himself was sent flying backward more than 10 meters. Cough, cough. Tang Hao, having steadied his figure, coughed incessantly, and threads of blood spilled from the corners of his mouth. That was not an injury caused by the Titan giant ape's punch, but rather his own outburst, which had aggravated his existing hidden injuries. His body had already been riddled with holes back when he was hunted by Spirit Hall. Not long ago, the overwhelming grief and anxiety had caused his spirit power to decline, making it difficult to suppress his injuries any longer. A combination of factors led to this moment of eruption. This won't do, I must finish this quickly, otherwise I fear I will be left here today. Tang Hao wiped the bloodstains from the corner of his mouth, and seeing the Titan giant ape charging at him once again, his eyes suddenly turned sharp. Without any hesitation, he directly unleashed the ultimate profound truth of the clear sky secret technique. Explode! With a thunderous shout from Tang Hao, his first 6 spirit rings and his 8th spirit ring suddenly exploded, turning into specks of blood-red light that merged into the clear sky hammer. Great Sumeru Hammer! He held the hammer with both hands and smashed it fiercely toward the top of the Titan giant ape's head. Zra! The Titan giant ape seemed to sense the terror of this hammer strike and let out a violent roar. Mysterious yellow light surged upon his right arm, and a phantom arm, even larger than his own right arm, vaguely appeared, enveloping his true arm. He leaped into the air and smashed his fist violently toward the massive clear sky hammer. Facing this ultimate strike from Tang Hao, he did not choose to dodge or retreat, but instead chose to meet the challenge head-on and clash directly. How formidable was this strike from Tang Hao? Although it was not as powerful as the 9-ring explosion that could reach the divine rank, the 8-ring explosion was no small matter. Ordinary titled Douluo could not possibly withstand it. Even though the opponent was the Titan giant ape, he was instantly blasted away hundreds of meters. Rumble! The Titan giant ape's massive body trampled all the vegetation along the way, and he only landed in a sorry state after hundreds of meters. Even so, he rolled several times before stopping. However, the Titan giant ape was tough. The moment he steadied himself, he performed a kip-up and jumped up from the ground, as if nothing had happened. But upon taking a closer look, where was Tang Hao's figure in his line of sight? It turned out that Tang Hao's hammer had successfully broken the Titan giant ape's gravity domain, and afterwards, he had taken his son and fled without hesitation. Zra, zra, zra. The Titan giant ape let out a long roar to the sky, immediately intending to give chase. Ming! Xiao Wu's voice suddenly rang out, causing the Titan giant ape's steps to falter. Sister Xiao Wu. He turned his head to look and saw Xiao Wu walking out from the depths of the jungle. Forget it. Xiao Wu glanced at the direction in which Tang Hao and the others had left, and finally shook her head to stop Ming. This is the periphery of the Stardew Great Forest, too close to the human world. If Ming were to chase them in a frenzy, it would invite big trouble. Spirit Hall would never allow a 100,000 year spirit beast that dared to step into the human world to live. If he were to attract all the titled Douluo of Spirit Hall, then let alone Ming, he and Da Ming would likely fall at the hands of Spirit Hall because of it. Zra, zra, zra. The Titan giant ape let out another long roar to the sky, not knowing if it was out of anger or as a warning of some kind. Let's go, we're going back to find Da Ming. Xiao Wu's state of mind was very complicated now. She did not know how to proceed with the path ahead. A 100,000 year spirit beast that has taken human form must go to the human world to rapidly increase its strength. Otherwise, it might not even reach the titled Douluo level by the time it dies of old age. Now that her identity had been exposed, it was truly too dangerous to go to the human world again. But if she didn't go? After thinking it over, Xiao Wu felt that she still had to go, but this time she could not go to any spirit master academies or big cities. Finding a remote small town to live a low-key life and cultivate would suffice. Okay. Ming said no more, bent down and extended his right hand, lifted Zyro Wu to sit on his shoulder, and then headed toward the core area. On the other side, Tang Hao could no longer hold on the moment. He brought Tang San out of the Stardew Great Forest, and his figure plummeted toward the ground as if falling. At the critical moment, he turned face up, shielding Tang San tightly above him. "Dad!" Bang! Tang San's exclamation had just rung out when Tang Hao's figure slammed heavily onto the ground, kicking up a huge cloud of dust. Cough, cough. Blood, accompanied by Tang Hao's coughing, kept spilling from the corners of his mouth. "Dad!" Tang San, who had been sent flying by the impact, rushed over to the front, looking at the weak and listless Tang Hao with a face full of terror. "Huff, huff, little San, in life, you cannot be too soft-hearted." Tang Hao gasped for air, pausing after every few words, looking as if he were giving his last words. "No, Dad!" Tang San panicked instantly, hurriedly grabbing Tang Hao's wrist to check his physical condition. He didn't know until he looked, but once he saw, he was truly shocked. Dad's body was like a big sieve, with all sorts of hidden illnesses piled up. He couldn't even imagine how Dad had held on until now. If it were an ordinary person, they would have died long ago. How could it be like this? Wasn't Dad a titled Douluo? A dignified titled Douluo, how could he have so many hidden injuries on his body, and who could have injured Dad to such an extent? He didn't know, but now was clearly not the time to ask about these things. "Dad, I'll take you to find a doctor." Tang San grabbed Tang Hao's arm violently, intending to lift him onto his back, but was forcefully stopped by Tang Hao. "Don't waste your effort. My injuries cannot be cured by anyone on the entire continent." That's it for today's chapter. If you enjoyed it, like, comment, and subscribe to Infinite Novel Audio. For more stories, check out my other channel AI Otaku Studio, and I'll see you in the next chapter.